Chapter 5593. My condition is very simple. I will take you to the core surrounded by demons, and you will protect me for a stick of incense. Longchen said, Guardian? What are you going to do? These people suddenly became vigilant. They have arranged a magic circle here to seal the endless power of destiny, and my goal is to absorb the power of destiny here. Longchen said, You want to absorb the power of destiny here? Everyone was shocked. Are you crazy? The power of destiny here has been imprinted with the aura of the demonic way. How can you absorb it? Are you kidding? It's impossible. You must have other plans. Tell the truth quickly. Obviously, everyone didn't believe Long Chen's words. The powerful demon clan had set up a large formation here, and the laws of heaven and earth had changed. The power of destiny here could not be absorbed by outsiders at all. Not to mention outsiders, no one can absorb it except the demon race supreme. How can the demon race make wedding dresses for others? This is the most basic common sense, and these people are well-informed arrogance, so naturally they don't believe Long Chen, thinking that Long Chen is lying. However, what they don't know is that Long Chen's star origin has been activated. As long as he has enough power of destiny, he can condense the dragon energy of Tianmai. No matter what demon imprint you have, once it enters Long Chen's body, it will be violently erased. Since you don't believe it, forget it, you go ahead, I won't disturb you. Long Chen pretended to leave after finishing speaking. Wait. Su Yu stopped Long Chen. She looked at Long Chen and said firmly, I believe in you, but there is one thing I can't promise you. It seems that I only ask you to promise me one thing. Long Chen was a little speechless. We went deep into the devil's lair this time. In order to destroy them and advance to the 9-meridian heavenly sage, it is very likely that we will perish with the enemy. We will try our best to buy time for you, but we are not sure whether we can buy time for a stick of incense. Therefore, we can only promise to do our best to help you, but we cannot guarantee the time. Su Yu looked at Long Chen and said every word. Long Chen's heart trembled slightly. This Su Yu was upright and fearless. No number of men could match him. Long Chen has fought all his life, and he has seen many treacherous people, but this is the first time Long Chen has seen such a heroine. The most important thing is that her eyes are as clear as water. Only those with the heart of a child can have such pure eyes. This shows that she is the same on the outside, and she is definitely not pretending to be generous and heroic. It seems that I am short-sighted. I never thought that there would be such a generous and elegiac person in my human race. Long Chen secretly praised in his heart. According to Su Yu's calculations, there must be more than one Bamai heavenly sage here. Their goal is to severely injure the promoted person, interrupt his advancement, and buy more time for the race. Okay, let's make a decision like this. As long as you can help me, let it be as long as possible. Long Chen reluctantly said. He likes these people very much, and wants to make friends with such warriors, but he dare not, because his status does not allow him to do that, because getting too close to them will only hurt them. Although Su Yu is already a powerful heavenly sage with 8 meridians, compared with Long Chen's enemies, Su Yu doesn't even have the ability to protect himself. Among other things, Li Changging, Fan Tianda and his ilk are not comparable to Su Yu. Not to mention there is a Minglong Tianfeng with the backing of the Emperor of the Underworld. Seeing that Long Chen agreed, a smile appeared on Su Yu's face. He stretched out his jade hand, clenched it into a fist, and faced Long Chen. Long Chen smiled, stretched out his fist and lightly met her. The two fists faced each other, indicating that the verbal contract was reached. Verbal contracts mean little to most people, but for those who value faith and righteousness, a single action can guarantee life and death. The gap between people is just that big. Walk. With a big wave of his hand, Long Chen took the lead and led the crowd towards the demon army. The demon army has always maintained a rapidly rotating formation, just like a huge storm group. Seeing Long Chen and others coming, they shouted loudly and were ready for battle in an instant. The direction is wrong, the center is not there. Seeing that the direction of Long Chen's impact was skewed, someone shouted loudly. However, Long Chen ignored it, holding a dark spear, and rushed towards the demon army obliquely. I see. Seeing this scene, Su Yu exclaimed. Her eyes were filled with ecstasy and she instantly understood Long Chen's intentions. Kill! Su Yu's spirit was lifted, and he shouted loudly. The dragon energy of the 8 heavenly veins unfolded, and the strong wind howled, and the strong demons in front of him were beheaded one after another. It has to be said that Su Yu is still very smart. He saw Long Chen's strategy at a glance, and at the same time secretly scolded himself for being too stupid. The vortex formation of the demon race is a typical consumption formation. She rushes straight from the outside. As the team is stretched, the power will be dispersed and pulled by the centrifugal force. The more she rushes forward, the greater the pulling force will be. The more dispersed the team. However, Long Chen chose to follow obliquely and charged straight into the vortex. Although the impact was huge, most of the impact was borne by the front of the team. The force suffered by the middle and rear was very small, so the team would not be pulled, thus forming a strong cohesive force. It took only half a stick of incense, and the entire team was already embedded in the demon army, going up against the current, rushing wildly, although the speed of progress was slow, but it was indeed approaching the core area step by step, which made everyone see hope, and they couldn't help being ecstatic. Friend, I underestimated you before. If you can survive this time, welcome to our Southern Alliance. You friend, we have made a deal. A strong man who had looked down on Long Chen before and had spoken rudely several times said loudly at this time. They didn't like Long Chen before because they hated the arrogant tone of Long Chen's words. Now, seeing Long Chen easily lead them in, they immediately changed their views on Long Chen. Southern Alliance? Long Chen was taken aback. He seemed to have heard of this name before, but he always thought that this was an alliance of a certain tribe, just like the Heavenly Demon Alliance. Unexpectedly, it was an alliance of the human race. The term alliance has been around for a long time. People's hearts are too complicated. It is extremely difficult to form an alliance. But seeing the powerhouses of the Southern Alliance, Long Chen suddenly thought of the Tianwu Alliance, and for a while, he had mixed feelings in his heart. We, the Southern Alliance, are one of the 4-party alliances, which are composed of the 4 parties in the South, East, North, and West. It is composed of more than 3,000 forces. Although we are not the strongest among the top forces, we are the most united. Even in the Tianyuan world, not many forces dare to bully us. Su Yu proudly introduced the Quartet Alliance to Long Chen. It's rude to just think about killing the demons. My name is Su Yu. I don't know your name and where do you come from? Su Yu suddenly said embarrassedly. My name is Long Chen, and I come from Lingshao Academy. Long Chen originally wanted to say that he was from Fengshanhai Pavilion, but he is not a disciple of Fengshanhai Pavilion after all, so it is more appropriate to report to Lingshao Academy. Lingshao Academy? Su Yu and the others were stunned. Obviously, they had been living in the Tianyuan world, and the name of Lingshao Academy had been submerged in the long river of history, and they had never heard of it. Be careful, there are masters coming. At this moment, someone exclaimed, and then the devilish energy struck, and dozens of figures rushed towards Long Chen and the others like lightning. Damn human race, you have ruined Lord Tiantong's important affairs by delusion, go to death. Call. A magic spear pierced through the void, carrying supreme magic power, and stabbed straight at Long Chen. Chapter 5594, Be careful, it's Chi Mai Tianxing. Su Yu stopped drinking, fearing that Long Chen would suffer. His figure flickered, and he was already in front of Long Chen. With a wave of his jade hand, the divine light surged, and the dragon energy of the 8 heavenly veins gathered to form a shield. Boom, boom, boom. The shield bloomed rapidly, and the 8 strong demons who rushed to Long Chen were instantly bounced off by the shield. What Long Chen didn't expect was that Su Yu's control over power was extremely subtle, and he could use the power of the 8 meridians freely, combining hardness and softness. Long Chen didn't expect that this Su Yu looked heroic, but in fact she was a delicate woman, and the distribution of power was just right. Without wasting a cent, Captain 8, charge with me, the front is the core area, don't mess up the formation. Su Yu shouted, holding a long gun, and rushed to the front. It has to be said that Su Yu is also an excellent commander. The more critical he is, the more calm he becomes. He rushes to the front, but does not attack unscrupulously. Stay in top form. The closer you get to the target, the more calm you become. This is a very good character. Everyone looks dignified, fighting spirit rises, and the formation of the team is gradually opened. In this way, Long Chen is protected by everyone in the middle. At this time, they no longer need Long Chen to command, so that Long Chen can be protected. In addition, they have fought all year round and cooperated with each other to form a certain tacit understanding. If Long Chen gets involved, it will disrupt them. After all, when the war starts, they are the main force. Boom! It has to be said that the powerhouses of the Southern Alliance, after going deep into the enemy camp, showed a calm attitude, which impressed Long Chen. Their combat experience is extremely rich and their cohesion is amazing. Their personal strength is not too strong, but they cooperate with each other and learn from each other's strengths to make up for their weaknesses. Although the tacit cooperation is incomparable with the Dragon Blood Legion, compared with the general team, they are much stronger. There is an altar in front, and they are doing some kind of worship ceremony. A Chimai Heavenly Saint Powerhouse shouted loudly. Long Chen stared at it, and there was indeed an altar with a radius of tens of thousands of miles in front of him. Countless figures sat cross-legged on the altar, performing some kind of worship ceremony. The blood-colored rays of light surged around those figures, continuously rising towards the center of the altar, and in the center of the altar, a tall man with ram horns, long hair and shoulders, who was as tall as an iron tower, was sitting there cross-legged, with 8 dragon auras all over his body. Search. All the heads of Tianmai Dragon Chi are facing in one direction. Where the 8 dragons gather, there is a vacuum zone, where endless energy is gushing out. As Suyu said, that man is using the right time, location, and people to unite with the 3 to condense the dragon energy of the 9th Tianmai. Above the 9 heavens, the power of destiny circulated like a raging sea. Under the altar, the immortal energy was steaming and gushing upwards, and the power of heaven and earth gathered on the man. And on the altar, countless powerhouses are burning their own dragon energy, using their original power to help the man complete the condensing of the 9th dragon energy. Buzz! Suddenly, the vision behind the man kept trembling, and a translucent dragon vein was slowly forming. The berserk force kept rushing against the sky and the earth. Even Su Yu felt terrified by the terrifying coercion. It should be the guy named Tian Tong. At this time, it has entered a critical moment. It has no time to entangle with this group of minions. It rushes over immediately, destroys the altar, and interrupts their ceremony. When she saw the situation clearly, Su Yu stopped drinking, and the 8 dragon energy of the heavenly veins burned instantly, bursting out with the strongest power in an instant, and those strong demons who besieged her were instantly shattered into powder. The target has appeared, Su Yu no longer keeps it, and the same is true for other strong men, burning Tianmai Dragon Chi one after another, in exchange for the strongest combat power. Although they know that burning the dragon energy of Tianmai will damage the original power, and at the same time they will not be able to fight for a long time. When the power is exhausted, there is only one dead end. But at this time they have no other choice. They only have one goal, which is to destroy the ritual of the demon race. Only in this way can more human race be saved. Kill! Tens of millions of powerful people roared to the sky. At this time, they were already in the center of the vortex. Under the burst of full force, the formation could no longer affect them, and they all began to desperately. Damn human race! Want to destroy the good things of adults? Kill them all for me. At this moment, at the core of the altar, a person stood up. To everyone's surprise, he was also an 8-veined heavenly sage. He and the other 4 closely guarded the tall man. The other 3 had the same level of cultivation as him, but the other 3 still closed their eyes and formed seals, and the dragon energy around them was still slowly flowing into that tall man. Man body. The 8-meridian heavenly sage moved and left his original position. He was tall and powerful, and he stepped forward with a single step. With the magic sword in his hand, he slashed at Su Yu head-on and face-to-face. Boom! With a bang, the magic sword slashed on the long spear, and the long spear bent slightly, but was actually bent by the magic sword. However, the moment the gun barrel was bent, the face of the strong demon changed, and his figure suddenly retreated. However, Su Ye's spear was like a poisonous snake coming out of its hole. The barrel of the spear was almost bent to 180 degrees, and the tip of the spear pointed straight at the man's face. Boom! The strong demon swung his sword to block, but there was a bang, and a mouthful of blood spurted out wildly, and he suffered a big loss with one move. The spear that originally belonged to Su Yu was extremely flexible. After being bent, it absorbed the opponent's strength. The strong demon was attacked by his own and the opponent's strength at the same time in a hurry, so he suffered a big loss. You pester him, Ilgo. With one blow, Su Yu severely wounded the strong demon and handed him over to his subordinates. She was about to rush up to the altar, but when she looked at the altar, her mouth opened wide in an instant. Because at some point, Long Chen, who had been in the team behind her, had actually appeared on the altar and had already quietly arrived in front of the man. Using the teleportation power of the Fantion seal, Long Chen quietly appeared in front of the man, gestured to his face with his hand, then swung his big hand in a circle and slammed it hard. Snapped! Amidst the exclamation of countless people, there was a loud explosion, and the man was slapped on the face by Long Chen, and he flew out like a meteor. Puff puff! The figure is like lightning, like a terrifying human-shaped weapon, directly piercing through the large formation of the demons. In a straight line, countless powerful demons were smashed into powder. The large vortex formation was plowed out of a vacuum. At that moment, both the demons and the powerful human race were stunned by this scene. However, before everyone could react, Long Chen had already sat down on the throne, replacing the man, and his hands slowly formed seals. The divine ring behind Long Chen opened up the sky and the earth, and the stars lit up the sky. The endless energy between the sky and the earth rushed towards him rapidly. This guy actually started to absorb energy as if nothing had happened. Kill! At this time, the strong demons on the altar woke up from the state of sedation. When they saw this scene, they roared and rushed towards Long Chen from all directions. Protect Dragon Dust, seeing that Long Chen interrupted the other party's ceremony, Su Yu yelled, raised her spear and rushed towards the altar frantically. She wanted to fulfill her promise to Long Chen. Chapter 5595, Damn Humans, I'm going to kill you. The man who was sent flying by Long Chen's slap was abruptly awakened from the state of concentration. The power of Long Chen's slap was not strong, and Long Chen never thought of slapping him to death. On the premise of not destroying the formation, Long Chen just wanted him to make room for him. At this time, Long Chen was sitting in the center of the altar, with the divine ring covering the sky and the stars shining in the world. Like a long whale absorbing water, he crazily devoured the energy between the heaven and the earth. His speed was many times faster than that man. Master Tiantong, calm down, keep the power of the sky veins fluctuating, and don't let the dragon energy of the ninth sky vein dissipate. Seeing the man's fury, an eight-veined heavenly sage hurriedly yelled. At this time, Tiantong was still in the state of promotion. Although it was interrupted, as long as it stabilized, there was still a chance to continue to condense. Master Tiantong, wait a moment, let us kill this group of stupid humans. Another eight-veined heavenly saint also shouted. They rushed towards Long Chen like lightning, and 4 eight-veined heavenly saints rushed to Long Chen immediately, and they wanted to kill Long Chen and let him give up his position. Boom boom, there were 2 explosions, and a long spear came through the air. The sharp point of the spear pointed directly at their vital points. Pick fly. Su Ye's aura is much stronger than these 4 people. Although they are both heavenly sages with 8 meridians, their coercion is much more solidified. I don't know if the strength of the 4 people has declined because they contributed too much original power. Even if the power of Tianmai is burned, they are still not Su Ye's opponent. But after attacking the 2, Su Ye's attack slowed down, and he was unable to pursue the remaining 2. Boom! However, at this time, the 8th team leader came, and they broke out with all their strength, fighting with their lives, forming a human wall, blocking in front of the 2 of them, but after a few moves, their defense was broken away. It's not that they're not brave enough, but that the strength gap between the 7 meridians and the 8 meridians is too huge, and they've tried their best. At this time, Su Yu was entangled by the other 2 heavenly sages with 8 veins, and was unable to come to support him. Seeing a person killing Long Chen, he couldn't help but yelled loudly, "Long Chen, be careful." At this time, Long Chen was concentrating on absorbing the power of heaven and earth, and seemed to be ignorant of the dangers of the outside world, as if he had given his life to them. The 8-veined heavenly sage held the magic sword and slashed at Long Chen's head. Seeing that Long Chen was about to die under the magic sword, Su Yu became anxious and dropped the spear in his hand. When there was a bang, and when the magic sword was only 3 inches away from Long Chen's head, the spear sent the magic sword flying, and the 8-veined heavenly sage of the demon clan was also taken away. "Kill this woman." Seeing that Su Yu was out of weapons, the 2 strong men of the demon clan stopped drinking at the same time, and came to kill Su Yu with their magic blades in their hands. Boom! At this time, the strong men of the Southern Alliance rushed to their death, forming a torrent of human figures, rushing towards them. Tens of thousands of heavenly saints with 6 meridians attacked together, and their power condensed into a rope. The violent power shocked the 2 heavenly saints with 8 meridians, and they were rushed back a few steps. Snapped, the crowd's impact won Su Yu an opportunity, the spear flew back to Su Ye's hands, and the crisis was immediately resolved. Boom, boom, boom. With Su Ye's long spear in his hand, he was full of fighting spirit. He fought against the 2 heavenly sages of the 8 meridians with 1 manpower, while the other strong men gathered together and rushed to the 8th captain to support them. It has to be said that the powerhouses of the Southern Alliance have extremely rich combat experience, and they are not afraid of death. Mai Tianxing was gradually forced away from the altar. Seeing this scene, the man named Tian Tong was very anxious, and roared, "Go all out, kill them all quickly." The man named Tian Tong had the most terrifying aura, but he didn't dare to do it, because his 9th Tianmai dragon aura was in the embryonic state and hadn't yet formed. Once he used his power, it would be easy for the 9th Tianmai dragon chi collapsed. You know, for the 9th dragon energy of the sky, he has worked hard and must not fail. At this time, Long Chen was frantically devouring the energy between the heaven and the earth. The power of the heavenly veins above the 9 heavens was rapidly decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the immortal energy gushing under the altar gradually dissipated. The runes also began to fade rapidly. It will take several days for Tian Tong to absorb all the power. Judging by this posture, it will be absorbed in less than half a stick of incense. Boom! Su Yu charged frantically, with 1 enemy against 2. With all his moves, he managed to kill the 2 strong men and retreated again and again. And the 8 captains were half injured, covered in blood, and the 4 of them dealt with 1, all of which were tactics of dying with the enemy. The demon army all over the sky, under the command of Tian Tong, charged wildly, but at this time, the strong demons were like a group of headless flies, attacking indiscriminately. At this time, we can see the importance of formation. No matter how they rushed, they were still unable to break through the defense formed by the Southern Alliance. What's more, it affected the attacks of the top demons and dragged down their rhythm. The man named Tian Tong was about to burst into tears at this moment, watching the endless energy being absorbed by Long Chen, and he couldn't regain that position. The remaining power was no longer enough for him to condense a complete 9th dragon vein. Damn human race, it's a good thing to kill Tian Tong, and none of you can live. Sha Tong Tian let out a roar. He couldn't hold it anymore. He had to take back his position, even at the risk of Tianmai dragon chi collapsing, otherwise it would be too late. Boom! Suddenly the void trembled, and the space was torn apart. A long sawtooth knife tore through the void and slashed at it with boundless devilish energy. Su Yu hurriedly blocked it. As a result, Su Ye's arms shook violently, and the spear flew out of his hands uncontrollably. At the same time, a mouthful of blood spurted wildly, and the person flew out backwards. Sister Su Yu? No one expected that Su Yu, who was in such a terrifying state of killing Tian Tong and burning Tianmai dragon chi, would be unable to catch his move. Don't worry about me, keep Longchen. As long as Longchen absorbs enough power of heaven and earth, he will never want to condense the dragon energy of the sky, and he will fail. Seeing that Su Yu was injured, the strong men of the Southern Alliance immediately rushed to rescue him. The formation was chaotic and they shouted anxiously. Their purpose is to destroy and kill Tiantong to advance to the nine-veined heavenly sage. Since Long Chen has this ability, they must assist him with all their strength. Even if they die, they must not let the demons appear first. Go to hell. Seeing this time, still thinking to stop himself, Shanantong's face was distorted, and the jagged long knife in his hand slashed down in the air. On the long knife, there were faint afterimages of 9 Tianmai dragon energy. At this time, he was no longer in ordinary. The 8 Meridian Celestial Sage is now, and half of his foot has already stepped into the realm of the 9 Meridian Celestial Sage. Sister Su Yu. Seeing that Su Yu was about to die under the magic knife, the powerhouses of the Southern Alliance were furious, but no one had the ability to save her, so they could only watch her die like this. However, at this moment, the blown spear, with stars shining all over it, smashed hard at the magic knife. Boom! With a loud explosion, Shaishantong let out a muffled groan, and was sent flying backwards by the spear. What? The sudden change shocked everyone. Chapter 5596. Shaishantong hated everyone so much that he was merciless in his strikes, but his full blow was blown away by the flying spear. The whole body was full of energy and blood, the tiger's mouth was split open, and the long knife could hardly be held. With a look of horror on his face, he looked behind Su Yu, and he saw Long Chen on the altar at a glance. When he saw Long Chen, his pupils shrank suddenly. At this time, behind Long Chen, there was a 1,000-mile-long Tianmai dragon energy churning. It was covered with starlight. It spun around behind Long Chen, and all the energy in the world was swallowed up by it in an instant. Su Yu escaped from the dead, and she was also stunned. There was still a lot of energy left in the world before, but Long Chen's Tianmai dragon energy appeared, and it was sucked dry in an instant. Even though she is well informed, she has never seen such a sky dragon energy. It is like a star dragon, overlooking the sky and the earth. Its body contains endless power of stars. It seems to be a part of the universe. Miniature. Snapped, Su Yu reached out and grabbed the long spear in front of him. At this time, the radiance of the stars on the long spear receded slowly, but the remaining power in its body was still not completely released. Boom! At this moment, a heavenly sage of 8 meridians came to kill her. She blocked it casually, and with a bang, the weapon of the heavenly saint of 8 meridians was blasted by her shot, and a mouthful of blood spewed out wildly. Su Yu was shocked. She never imagined that the power remaining in the spear was so terrifying. It hit the 8-veined heavenly sage severely with one blow. Buzz! Behind Long Chen, the divine ring trembled, and the sky veins and dragon air flowed. At this moment, he looked down on the eternity like a war god in the starry sky. This is a bit of an exaggeration. There are so many Tianmai dragon chi, but there is only one Dzogchen meridian, and it is impossible to condense the second Tianmai dragon chi. Long Chen felt the power of Tianmai dragon chi, and his eyes were full of blood. It is the color of shock. Originally, Long Chen thought that with so much power of destiny, he could almost condense 3 heavenly dragon energy, and at worst 2. However, after the Tianmai dragon chi was completely completed, it devoured all the power of heaven and earth in one breath, and then there was no movement, and the second Tianmai dragon chi showed no sign at all. Don't be ignorant of blessings in the blessings. The more you consume, the stronger the Tianmai dragon chi will be condensed. Qin Kuan Ding said angrily. Die! At this moment, Sha Tiantong reacted from the shock, and rushed towards Long Chen with a roar. Call, Su Yu couldn't figure out Long Chen's situation at this time. Although Long Chen's star and dragon veins looked amazing, the fluctuations were extremely weird. It seemed strong and weak, so she immediately blocked it. Go away, you damned ant. Seeing that Su Yu was blocking him desperately, Sha Tiantong was furious, and the magic knife turned around and slashed towards Su Yu. Call, Just when Suyu was about to resist with all her strength, the void suddenly twisted, and a figure appeared in front of her, and that person was Long Chen. Long Chen. When Long Chen appeared, Suyu exclaimed, because Long Chen was just standing in front of her with his hands behind his back, facing Sha Tiantong's mad slash. He didn't even block it. Boom! Under Su Ye's horrified gaze, Tiantong's magic knife slashed fiercely on Long Chen's shoulder, but this destructive knife did not hurt Long Chen at all. At this time, Long Chen's body was covered with a starry sky battle suit, the stars were shining brightly, and the sharp magic knife was only an inch away from Long Chen's shoulder, but he couldn't move any further. Seeing this scene, Suyu covered her cherry lips with her jade hand, her eyes filled with disbelief. Long Chen just condensed a sky vein dragon energy, and he was able to ignore Sha Tiantong's attack. Is he a monster? Everyone, no matter the enemy or us, was stunned. They couldn't help but stop fighting, retreated slowly, and stared at Long Chen. Sha Tiantong was also dumbfounded. He couldn't believe everything in front of him. Tick tick tick. The devil's blood overflowed from his tiger's mouth and slowly dripped along the handle of the knife. He slashed Long Chen, and Long Chen was safe and sound, but he was injured. Long Chen condensed a complete Tianmai Dragon Qi, and he felt that this Tianmai Dragon Qi contained a power that even he was afraid of. The reason why he didn't fight back was to test the power of the stars now. Even though he was injured, Long Chen had to evaluate his own strength, which would be more conducive to him knowing his own level. However, after this knife, Long Chen was calm on the surface, but his heart was already too excited to describe. Under the horrified eyes of countless people, Long Chen pretended to be indifferent, squinting at the heaven-killing channel. Killing the sky? Killing a way to reach the sky? It's a pity meeting Long San. This way is blocked. I do not believe, Sha Tiantong roared and backed up abruptly. He opened his arms, and the 8 dragon energy of Tianmai burned rapidly, and his aura soared rapidly, exploding exponentially. At this time, he has fallen into madness, and he doesn't care whether he will shatter the embryonic form of the Tianmai, directly burn the Tianmai, and enter a state of berserk. Several times. The terrifying power of the demon made everyone breathless, and even Suyu couldn't bear the terrifying pressure, and was forced to retreat again and again. What a terrifying magic power! Among the 8 captains, one couldn't help exclaiming. Such a terrifying guy, it's worth dying for us to destroy his advancement. The other captain laughed. I don't think we will die. This Long Chen is more terrifying than that monster. Believe me, I have a hunch that none of us will die. Another captain said confidently. While talking, they gestured to shrink the team and slowly retreated behind Long Chen. They are also people who have experienced many battles. Although they were mistaken before, they didn't realize that Long Chen was a terrifying powerhouse. If they can't see the way now, it means they are too stupid. Boom! Sha Tiantong's Tianmai power is still burning crazily, his aura is still soaring rapidly, his power seems to be endless. The coercion makes the scalp numb. The strong men of the demon clan all retreated at this time, and they formed a huge encirclement circle. Their only goal was to prevent everyone from escaping. They knew that Shaishentong was completely berserk at this time, and the long-planned plan was destroyed. If these people were allowed to escape again, Shaishentong's anger would not be something they could bear. Long Chen, he'll make a move to attract his attention and interrupt his promotion. You come and take the opportunity to give him a fatal blow. Seeing that the aura of killing heaven is still rising, and there is no one around to protect the law, Suyu is very angry with Long Chen. Dust transmission channel. This Shaishentong is amazing in strength, but his brain is not very good. If he is so blatantly burning the power of Tianmai, if he is attacked by surprise, it will easily cause the reversal of Tianmai. Taking action at this time is a God-sent opportunity. No, you'll let him know what hope is now and then tell him. Long Chen shook his head, a smile appeared on his face. What is despair? Chapter 5597. Boom, there was an explosion, the sky and the earth trembled, and a violent ripple spread rapidly in all directions with Shitongshin as the core. His crazily soaring aura finally stopped, and to everyone's surprise, 9 dragon auras appeared behind him. Among the 9 Tianmai dragon chi, 8 are solid and 1 is transparent. When Su Yu and others saw this transparent Tianmai dragon chi, their hearts fell to the bottom of the valley in an instant. How did this happen? He still condensed the 9th dragon energy of the Tianmai. Is it because we are too late? A team leader said unwillingly. The transparent Tianmai dragon aura is the same size as the other 9 Tianmai dragon auras, and it has already begun to take shape. The condensation of Vein Dragon Chi is just a matter of time. In other words, their efforts were in vain. They failed to destroy the 9th Tianmai Dragon Chi, but it lasted for a while. Hateful, a team leader gritted his teeth. He knew that within a month at the most, this Shaishentong would definitely be able to condense a complete Tianmai Dragon Chi and then advance to Jumai Tianxing. At that time, the disaster of the strong human race will come. When he saw the 9th dragon energy of the Tianmai behind him, Sha Tiantong looked up to the sky and laughed loudly. Unexpectedly, I actually condensed the embryonic form of the Tianmai, which means that the fate of the heavens is on the side of my demon race, the human race. The only thing waiting for you is destruction, Sha Tiantong laughed crazily. In his rage, he burned the Tianmai dragon chi. He originally thought that under the violent destruction, the 9th Tianmai dragon chi would melt and disappear. However, after melting and disappearing, it would bring him an increase in strength. Huge improvement. However, Sha Tongtian did not expect that the violent burning did not burn down the 9th Tianmai dragon energy, but instead stimulated it and accelerated its formation. Boom! Sha Tiantong clenched his fist violently, and the void exploded. With his palm as the center, the violent power scattered, and cracks appeared in the void. The power of a grasp is so terrifying that Su Yu and others are instantly desperate. Even if only half a foot of the 9 meridians stepped into it, the 8 meridian heaven sages are like ants in front of them. The gap is too big. Su Yu and the others knew this terrifying gap. They knew that they would die, but they still wanted to come and destroy them. Unfortunately, he still succeeded. With the cruelty of the demons, once they meet the human race, the fate of the human race will be different. It is extremely tragic. Killing Tiantong condensed the 9th dragon energy of the sky, and the strong demons cheered loudly. When they looked at Long Chen and others, the corners of their mouths were full of cruel grins. Why are you laughing? If you don't make a move, are you still waiting for me to give it to you? Long Chen looked at Sha Tong, who was laughing arrogantly, and said lightly, Long Chen, you are very strong and have unlimited potential. You can't die here. After a while, we will burn your blood and soul and set up a large array of trapped demons. At most, we can only give you a breath of time. You should know what to do. Su Yu took a deep breath, and with a look of determination in his eyes, he spoke to Long Chen. She knew that everyone would surely die today, and they were unable to face the 9 meridians heavenly sage. She also saw the horror of Long Chen, so she decided to fight for a chance for Long Chen to escape. Don't make trouble, I can't help but fall in love with you if you look like this. Long Chen shook his head and said. Long Chen didn't transmit the sound, but said it directly. Long Chen's words caught Su Yu by surprise, and her face was flushed. It seemed that no one had ever said such straightforward words to her in this life. However, thinking about it carefully, Long Chen said, You, instead of you. Su Yu said angrily, When is it? Are you still making such silly jokes? Escape and remember to avenge us. Snapped, Su Yu put her hands together abruptly and formed seals with both hands. Following her movement, the powerhouses of the Southern Alliance formed seals at the same time, and their movements were uniform. The seal method was exactly the same as Su Yes. Obviously, Su Yu had already followed them. Communication is good. Want to escape? Just dream. When Sha Tiantong saw Su Yes movements, a sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth, his figure flickered, and he disappeared instantly. Suddenly, Su Yu felt her soul tremble, and she couldn't move her palms. She was shocked to find that she was locked by the terrifying force of destiny, and the spell could not be activated. A devil's claw appeared in front of her, and it went straight to grab her throat. At this time, Su Yu couldn't move at all, and could only watch helplessly as the furry devil's claw came, but he couldn't resist it. Snapped, just when the devil's claws were about to touch Su Yu's white jade neck, a big hand slammed on the void, and the void collapsed, revealing the figure of Sha Tiantong. Long Chen's slap was precisely on Sha Tiantong's face. Boom! Sha Tiantong's nails, less than an inch away from Su Yu's neck, suddenly flew backwards. Damn, do you think him fake? Sha Tiantong's speed is fast, while Long Chen's speed is faster, and he arrives first. Even though he is hidden in the void, he can already accurately judge his position. Sha Tiantong was sent flying. Su Yu's whole body relaxed immediately, and the terrifying power that was pressing on his body disappeared instantly. Thank you for your kindness, leave it to me. Long Chen grinned at the shocked Su Yu and all the strong men of the Southern Alliance. Although their strength is not very strong, they are all true warriors and worthy of admiration. I killed you. Sha Tiantong was sent flying far away by Long Chen. His whole face was burning hot. A deep palm print appeared on his big face. In that palm print, there was even a little bit of starlight circulating. Excruciating pain and shame let him utter a deafening roar. Boom! Sha Tiantong stomped on his feet, the void exploded, and the figure disappeared instantly. Laugh! Suddenly, the void in front of Long Chen was torn apart. Sha Tiantong's sharp claws went straight to Long Chen's shoulders, and above the sharp claws, the magic flow circulated, the power of the sky veins rose, and the power of the two claws changed the color of the world. Slap! In the face of Sha Tiantong's berserk blow, Long Chen opened his hands at the same time. On the palm of his hand, stars flowed, and he grabbed the opponent's sharp claws. The hands of the stars faced the claws, and the world trembled violently. Die! Sha Tiantong roared. His claws were strong, he was tall, and he pulled violently, trying to tear Long Chen into pieces. However, he tried his best to tear it apart, but Long Chen's hands trembled slightly, unable to tear it all. Is that all you have? Stupid demons, he understood. Thousands of miles of dragon veins flowed behind Long Chen, giving him endless power. Long Chen felt unprecedentedly powerful, and directly opened the ultimate mockery of Sha Tiantong. Sha Tiantong was spit all over his face, his eyeballs turned blood red instantly, and his whole face was completely distorted. He opened his mouth suddenly, and a blood-colored ball of light emerged from his mouth. Snapped, however, before he could spit out the ball of light, Long Chen suddenly raised his knee, raised his calf, passed Sha Tiantong's chest, and kicked his chin with his heel. Currently used, the app with the most complete and best listening sounds, integrated with 4 speech synthesis engines, over 100 kinds of timbres, and an artifact that supports offline reading, Huanyuan app. Org Source app, boom, Sha Tiantong was kicked into the sky by Long Chen, followed by a bang, billowing black smoke came out of Sha Tiantong's mouth. You can also imitate Long Sanya's tricks? Long Chen stood with his hands behind his back, looked at Sha Tiantong in the distance, and said proudly, "Ka ka ka." People saw pieces of broken teeth scattered from Sha Tiantong's mouth. At that moment, everyone seemed to be petrified. Chapter 5598. At that moment, the audience was dead silent, and the sound of Sha Tiantong's teeth tearing was heard all over the world. Looking at the fragments of teeth scattered in the world, Su Yu and the others felt their scalps go numb for a while. They looked at Long Chen. At this time, Long Chen's divine ring trembled behind him, the star sea flickered, and the stars and dragon veins surged back and forth behind his back. Stars shine in the universe, dragons swim in the sea, they have never seen this kind of vision. Apart from the strange rhythm, the vision is still shrinking and expanding regularly. It seems that its breath is changing with Long Chen's breathing. The starlight is endless and vast. At that moment, wherever the starlight goes, all dharmas and ways are all dominated by Long Chen. With every breath and breath, the life and death of all spirits are in the midst of Long Chen's thought. With the circulation of the star vein dragon energy, Long Chen felt unprecedentedly powerful. After a small test, he felt the unimpeded joy of the power of the stars in his body. Now he understands that only when he condenses the dragon energy of the sky can he truly master the power of the stars. What he has touched before is just the superficiality of the power of the stars. It turns out that Xingmai Dragon Qi is the bridge and medium through which my Dantian Xinghai communicates with the 9 heaven stars. Long Chen secretly thought he finally touched the secret of the 9 stars hegemony body art. That's right, you are the true descendant of the 9 stars, because your modification of the 9 stars hegemony has mutated it. But from the current point of view, this mutation will only make you stronger, but being stronger also represents a more difficult promotion, so you have to be mentally prepared. Qiankuan Ding said. It is connected with Long Chen's soul, so it naturally knows what Long Chen is thinking. In order to prevent Long Chen from being overwhelmed by surprises, he first poured a basin of cold water on Long Chen. Hey, if you have wine today and get drunk today, don't care about him so much, at least I know that now I can be arrogant as much as I want. Long Chen chuckled. The completion of a Tianmai Dragon Qi has brought about an earth-shaking change in his power. The 8 Meridian Heavenly Sage is no longer in his eyes, and the half-assed 9 Meridian Heavenly Saint in front of him is nothing more than that to him. I'll try it with you today. How strong is my Tianmai Dragon Qi? Long Chen looked at the angry Shaishentong in the distance, his figure flickered, and the person rushed over like a bolt of lightning. Magic flame slash. Sha Tiantong saw Long Chen coming, roared, and directly used the magic knife. The magic knife in his hand was a peerless magic weapon with a long history and an astonishing history. The ancient ominous demon woke up, slashed down with a knife, the sky was torn apart, and the ear-piercing sound of piercing the sky was enough to tear people's souls apart. Boom! In the face of Sha Tiantong's knife, Long Chen did not retreat or evade. On the fist, the stars lit up and a dragon shadow pattern flowed and hit the magic knife hard. There was a loud bang, and the void was disillusioned. Tong shook at the same time and took a few steps back. Receive the magic soldier with bare hands? Su Yu and the others were shocked. Everything happened too fast. They only saw Long Chen disappear, and then the scene of sword and fist clashing. Long Chen actually fought the peerless demon soldier who killed Tiantong empty-handed, and even fought for a tie. You must know that the aura of Shaishentong at this time is several times that of just now, and under his full support, the power of the magic soldiers is even more amazing, and Long Chen actually took it with his bare hands. Is Long Chen a monster? He obviously has a big knife behind him, but he fights empty-handed. This is obviously looking down on this Shaishentong. A captain couldn't help but said, as powerful as Sha Tiantong, it seems that he has not yet qualified to let Long Chen use weapons. How arrogant and overbearing this is. Boom boom boom. Just when people were shocked, Sha Tiantong roared again, and the magic knife flew like a windmill, slashing wildly. And Long Chen waved his fists wide open and closed. He just stood up to the endless knife shadows, fought hard with them, and did not retreat at all. Chi-chi-chi. The aftermath of the terrifying saber aura tore the void apart, and the void was cut into cracks. One of the saber aura cut toward Su Yu and others. Su Yu was shocked and blocked it with all his strength. As a result, there was a bang, and she was so shocked that her blood surged, and she almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Sister Su Yu? Everyone was shocked. Fine. Su Yu waved her hand hastily. She was horrified. This saber energy was just the aftermath of being shattered by Long Chen, and at such a long distance, it still had such terrifying power. So at this moment, to what extent must the power of the two be berserk? Su Ye's scalp tingled for a while. The strength of the two of them was beyond her comprehension. Boom, there was another explosion. Long Chen punched Sha Tiantong's magic knife, and the two flew upside down for 100 miles at the same time, looking at each other from the air. After a frenzied battle, it took only a few blinks of an eye, and the two fought hundreds of moves. Long Chen stood above the void, with his hands behind his back, and the stars flowed behind him, like a war god in the starry sky, looking down on the eternity. Compared with Long Chen's composure, Sha Tiantong was already panting a bit. His eyes were full of fury and panic. He couldn't imagine how a heavenly sage could be so strong. I do not believe. Sha Tiantong raised his head to the sky and roared. Suddenly he bled all over his body, and the devil blood gradually gathered into various patterns on his body. When the patterns appeared, the bloody aura instantly permeated. When they smelled the bloody smell, Su Yu and the others suddenly trembled in their souls, their hair stood on end, and a strong threat of death filled their hearts. This is a curse. A captain exclaimed. No, this is not a curse, this is a sacrifice. Su Yu also said in horror. Sacrifice? Sha Tong is going to die? Use your own blood and soul to sacrifice? Everyone was shocked. Su Yu wasn't sure what kind of move it was, but she knew that this Tong was about to release a terrifying move. Once it was successfully released, his power might rise to an unprecedented height. Su Yu was extremely nervous, and she wanted Long Chen to interrupt his sacrifice quickly, but Long Chen looked at Sha Tiantong quietly at this moment, without a trace of nervousness or panic. On the contrary, there seemed to be some kind of nervousness in his eyes. Expect. Seeing this scene, Su Yu swallowed her words when they reached her lips. She turned her head and said to everyone, "This is a rare battle in a mad world. How many people will never have the chance to meet it in their lifetime?" Everyone concentrates and calms down, carefully comprehending the opportunity under the suppression of endless death. If we can leave alive and break through the bottleneck in the future, we will become even more powerful. Easy, yes. Hearing Su Yu's words, everyone's hearts trembled. Before, they were patronizing fear, but they didn't expect to gain experience in this battle and use the will of the peerless powerhouse to stimulate their own potential. It was simply extremely stupid. With Su Yu's reminder, everyone immediately disregarded life and death, felt the changes in the way of heaven with their hearts, listened to the voice of 10,000 ways, and comprehended the will of the strongest. Blessings from the ancestor of the devil, the vision of the myriad demons. Suddenly, Tong let out a roar, and in the vision behind Tong, endless phantoms appeared. At that moment, his aura surged more than 10 times in an instant, and the berserk aura directly shattered the void. Die! Sha Tiantong let out a roar, and suddenly slashed down with a knife. People saw his long knife raised, and a shadow of the knife had already slashed in front of Long Chen. Everything happened so fast that Long Chen didn't even have time to react. Was cut with a knife. Long Chen. Everything happened so suddenly, Su Yu and others exclaimed, and at this time, the position where Long Chen was located had exploded, and endless avenue runes were flying, forming a boundless ravine. Chapter 5599. Everything happened too fast. The knife of killing Tiantong cut off the prison of time and space. No one can escape this knife. It's over. When they saw Long Chen's position, a deep gully was carved out of the void, and seeing endless space fragments flying, Su Yu and others' hearts instantly fell to the bottom of the valley. Who would have thought that Tong was so powerful that such a terrifying knife would explode in an instant, without giving Long Chen any chance at all? Long Chen died, and Su Yu and the others were very sad. There was a look of sadness on their faces. If Long Chen could listen to him and escape first, he would grow up in the future, and he would definitely be an iron wall for the human race. However, there are not so many ifs. After Long Chen died, it will be their turn next. Wow, this blow is strong enough. At this moment, a lazy voice came. When hearing this voice, no matter the enemy or us, we couldn't believe our ears. They hurriedly looked for the reputation, only to see where Long Chen was. Endless runes were circulating, the distorted space was slowly recovering, and Long Chen's figure gradually appeared. What? When he saw that Long Chen was still in place, Sha Tiantong's pupils shrank sharply. At this time, Long Chen's black robe was fluttering, his long hair was flying, and he raised his left hand, and there was a star shield with a diameter of about 10 feet in front of him. At this time, the star shield cracked, and a crack was cut out. The crack extended to the palm of Long Chen, and a big hole was cut in the palm of Long Chen, and blood slowly overflowed. I was surprised that this blow could hurt me. Long Chen looked at the opening in his palm and said calmly, While speaking, the wound on his palm healed instantly. Such a terrifying blow only hurt his skin. However, Long Chen's words pierced Sha Tongshan's heart like poisonous arrows, and the contemptuous tone was the greatest humiliation to him. "You damned human race, today I will tear you to pieces." Killing Tiantong let out a roar. The magic knife pointed to the sky. The shadow of the 10,000 demons trembled behind him, the runes flowed on the magic knife, and the roar of all the demons resounded throughout the world. This knife seemed to be blessed by all the demons, and all the demons fell with one blow. The stars are swaying. "Don't talk big. If you are really sure to kill me, you won't use sneaky tricks to attack me. You have already feared me in your heart. Your anger is just to cover up the panic in your heart. Your yelling is just to embolden yourself." Long Chen sneered. Faced with Sha Tongshan's berserk knife, Long Chen opened his big hand, endless stars flowed, and the star sea behind him dimmed a bit instantly, and the endless power of stars gathered in his palm, forming a star ball. The ball is like the incarnation of one universe. One star god falls, Long Chen stopped drinking, and the star ball in his hand slammed into the terrifying magic knife. Boom! With a bang, the sky-shattering knife shadow exploded, and the terrifying magic blade, together with Sha Tiantong's arm, was directly blasted to pieces by the stars. Sha Tiantong spurted blood wildly. His face was terrified, his natal magic blade was blown up, he was completely frightened, and suddenly there was an extra jade card in his hand. He wants to escape. When he saw the jade tablet, Su Yu shouted. Laugh, however, just as the jade tablet appeared, a big hand full of stars grabbed his wrist, pulled it violently, and tore his arm from the position of the shoulder blade abruptly. Ah! Different from the previous shattering, the piercing pain caused Sha Tiantong to let out a miserable scream. Boom! Long Chen kicked him in the back of the heart, and there was a loud bang, killing Tiantong's blood spurted wildly, his whole body was cracked, and he was almost exploded by Long Chen's kick. Call! Sha Tiantong was kicked by Long Chen and flew directly in front of Su Yu. Su Yu was shocked and stabbed out almost instinctively. Puff! The spear pierced directly between Sha Tiantong's eyebrows. Sha Tiantong's body trembled suddenly, his eyes were full of fear and unwillingness, and he died in Su Yu's hands in the end. His eyes were fixed on Su Yu, and he was so angry that he felt endless humiliation. Long Chen didn't kill him because he didn't even have the qualifications to die in Long Chen's hands. Humiliation, endless humiliation. However, regardless of humiliation or anger, his life force is rapidly draining, and the light in front of him is gradually disappearing. In the end, a generation of demons' arrogance has become a cold corpse. Su Yu was also stunned. She actually killed Shaishentong. Such a terrifying existence died in her hands. Warriors of the Confederate Alliance, wave your weapons, cut off the heads of the enemies, reap their lives as much as you want, and use their blood to create the glory of the human race. Kill. Long Chen stopped drinking and gave an order directly. Hearing Long Chen's order, the powerhouses of the Southern Alliance suddenly became excited and even forgot that Long Chen was not their leader at all. After Long Chen stopped drinking, they roared and waved with weapons to kill the strong demons. At this time, the powerful demons still couldn't believe that the powerful Shaishentong was really dead. They seemed to be in a nightmare. However, the weapons of the strong human race awakened them, but after they woke up, they found out sadly that this was not a dream at all. Puff puff. The powerhouses of the Southern Alliance are extremely fierce and fearless, especially after witnessing Long Chen's battle. They are all more enthusiastic and braver. Warriors of the Confederacy, unleash your fury. There is no need for pity, no mercy on the battlefield. On the battlefield, self-confidence and courage are needed. We must believe that when the weapon is in our hands, we are invincible, and the gods and demons of the heavens cannot stop us from moving forward. Heaven and earth will bless us. My life is the destiny, my way is the way of heaven. The enemies in front of us are the shackles on our path of cultivation. Kill them, destroy them, our future will be a smooth road. Go. Kill. Long Chen shouted loudly, like the decree of the gods, resounding through 9 heavens and 10 places. As a result of Long Chen's shock, the eyeballs of tens of millions of powerhouses in the Southern Alliance were all red. They seemed to be hypnotized, and the Tian My Dragon energy in their bodies was swelling wildly, as if their bodies were about to explode. Only by killing the enemy can the bondage be released. Every time an enemy is killed, the feeling of bondage will be relieved. It seems that they have a seal blessing on them, and killing the enemy is the only way to release the seal. Long Chen. Su Yu and the others frantically chased and killed those strong demons, but she felt something was wrong after killing her. She looked at Long Chen, and Long Chen blinked at her. Boom, 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 boom. At this moment, a terrifying aura rose up, and Su Yu was shocked to find that, following the continuous killing of the strong demons, the soldiers of the Southern Alliance broke through one by one. 4 meridians are promoted to 5 meridians, 5 meridians are promoted to 6 meridians, 6 meridians are promoted to 7 meridians. Within a few breaths, hundreds of thousands of strong people have been promoted, and the most terrifying thing is that the promotion is still continuing. Su Yu's pretty face was full of disbelief. She looked at Long Chen above the void and was so excited that she couldn't say a word. Chapter 5600. Kill as much as you want. This is a gift from the demons to the warriors. If you don't take it, you won't take it. Seeing Su Yu looking at him stupidly, Long Chen said to her, "A gift from the demon race?" It was only then that Su Yu discovered that after Sha Tiantong was killed, the fluctuations in the world had changed. Could it be? It suddenly occurred to her that after Sha Tiantong was killed, his body absorbed endless energy from the heavens and the earth, preparing to condense the 9th dragon energy of the sky. Later, the advancement was interrupted, and Long Chen sucked up the power between heaven and earth. Now, with the death of Sha Tiantong, it seems that the energy absorbed by him has been released again. Moreover, Su Yu discovered that as the strong demons were killed, one could faintly see the fusion of the power of destiny and the fluctuations of the heavens and the earth, and was finally absorbed by everyone's Tian My Dragon energy. Su Yu suddenly realized, she suddenly understood that this must have something to do with the big formation arranged by the demons, although she didn't know the details, but she knew that killing the strong demons would allow everyone to quickly break through the bottleneck. Kill. At that moment, Su Yu respected Long Chen like a god, and immediately caught up with a demon's 8-veined heavenly sage, fighting frantically. The 8-veined heavenly saint of the demon clan wanted to escape immediately, but there were too many people around, and the speed of others affected him. He gritted his teeth and started to kill his own people crazily, but even so, he was still beaten by Su Yu. Catch up. Puff. In the end, Su Yu paid a certain price and killed the opponent. The moment he killed the opponent, Su Yu clearly felt that his Tian My Dragon Chi fluctuated wildly, and there were signs of a breakthrough. This further proved her deduction, and she began to kill frantically, going straight to kill another 8-meridian celestial saint. Boom, boom, boom. There are too many strong people in the demon clan, densely packed. Originally the inner circle is all strong, and the weak are left on the outside. However, at this time, the speed of escape of the outer demons was too slow, and it turned out to be a reminder for the strong in the inner circle, seriously delaying their escape. An hour later, the battle was coming to an end, because the encirclement circle was too big, and when the circle expanded to a certain extent, everyone could no longer catch up. At this time, the ground was already full of corpses, and the world was filled with a pungent bloody smell. In line with the principle of not chasing the poor, Su Yu gave the order and began to retreat, because the enemy was too scattered, chasing was too strenuous, and the team scattered, and it was easy to be in danger. Now it has won a complete victory. Extreme joy cannot beget sorrow. What excites Su Yu the most is that almost all of the more than 30 million soldiers of the Southern Alliance have advanced to the advanced level. At that time, she still seemed to be in a dream, and she was afraid that she would wake up from the dream accidentally. The same is true for other strong people. Many people's thighs and arms have been pinched with countless bruises, and many people even pinched each other, just to verify whether they are dreaming. In a bloody battle, more than 30 million people advanced at the same time, which has completely subverted everyone's imagination. When everyone returned, Long Chen was sitting on the void, adjusting his breath. When they looked at Long Chen again, their eyes were full of admiration and awe. They didn't know exactly what happened, but they knew that all of this was arranged by Long Chen. In their eyes, Long Chen was like a god. When everyone returned, Long Chen opened his eyes, came to everyone, grinned and said, "Congratulations everyone. Of course, I should also congratulate me. We all have a happy cooperation and make a lot of money." At this time, Long Chen returned to his relaxed appearance, without any airs, nor the majesty of a master, just like a naughty boy next door, with a harmless appearance. Yes, happy cooperation. Su Yu originally wanted to say something thankful, but for a moment, she didn't know what to say. After saying this, she felt a little regretful. What does it mean to have a happy cooperation? Everything about them was given to them by Long Chen. Everyone, don't be so nervous, just let me clear up your doubts. The reason why you can break through is all thanks to the demons. The guy who killed Tian Tong sacrificed his blood soul in exchange for the blessing of luck from the ancestors of the demon race. When he died, his luck burned, and all the power he absorbed was returned. This battlefield has mutated, and the demon cubs of the demon clan are killed, and the power of heaven and earth will bless you. This is a kind of bad luck. You caught up with me, hee. How is it, doesn't it feel good? Long Chen explained to everyone in order to ease the atmosphere. After hearing Long Chen's explanation, everyone understood what was going on, but without Long Chen's guidance, they would not have such luck at all. To put it bluntly, all this was still given to them by Long Chen. Su Yu took a deep breath, tried his best to calm down and said, "Long Chen, thank you very much this time. We have written down this feeling. Although we know that you are unlikely to need us, as long as you need us, just say a word, the lives of us all belong to you." Of the 8 captains and everyone looked at Long Chen with burning eyes. All eyes were full of excitement. Yes words represented their words. They also know that Long Chen is too strong, and they may not be able to use them for a lifetime, but as long as they have the opportunity, even if they lose their lives, they will repay the favor. These words are out of the question. The strong will be surpassed one day, and the weak will become stronger one day. To quote what I once said, to be born like an ant, one should have great aspirations. One's life is thinner than paper, and one should have an unyielding heart. The universe has not been decided. You and I are both dark horses. If the universe has been decided, who dares to say that I cannot turn the world around? Work hard. Opportunities are always reserved for those who are prepared. Otherwise, when the opportunity comes, if you have no strength, you can only watch the opportunity slip away. Everyone, the mountains are high and the water is long. We will meet again in the future. I believe we will see you again in the near future. After Long Chen greeted everyone with a smile, his figure flickered and disappeared in front of everyone. Life is like an ant, and you should have a lofty ambition. Life is thinner than paper. You should have an unyielding heart. The universe is undecided, and you and I are dark horses. If the universe is already determined, who dares to say that I cannot reverse it? Long Chen left, and everyone was still immersed in Long Chen's words. It was the first time in their lives that they heard such shocking words. Long Chen's voice hit the depths of their souls. There is no one who does not desire to become stronger, but the reality is always so cruel. To become a strong person requires not only talent, hard work, and a strong leader, but also luck, background, resources, connections, etc., all of which are indispensable. Although they are already very strong, compared with the real superpowers, they are still far behind. That kind of gap sometimes makes people breathless and desperate. Countless people don't say it on the surface, but in their hearts already bowed to fate. However, today Long Chen's words gave them a little courage to fight against fate, and ignited their will not to accept fate and admit defeat. To be called a warrior by such a character, everyone should never underestimate themselves again. Su Yu took a deep breath and said, "Otherwise it is the greatest disrespect to Long Chen and the greatest humiliation to ourselves." It was only at this time that everyone remembered that Long Chen had always called them warriors. When they thought of this, their blood became hot instantly. Even Long Chen respected them so much, so why should they not be confident? Let's go. From today onwards, we will redouble our efforts. Long Chen said that we will meet again. When we meet again, we must not let him down. Su Yuyu waved her hand and led everyone away from the battlefield. However, this battle became a turning point in their fate. Long Chen's words opened the door to the world of the strong for them. https://www.novelcool.com/chapter/9-star-hegemon-body-arts-chapter-560178309 Hegemon Body Arts 5601 Chapter 5601 Chapter 5601 It's too strong. I still have at least 50% of my star power left. Leaving the battlefield, Long Chen found a hidden place, carefully felt the power of the stars in his body, and couldn't help shouting in excitement. The power contained in a complete star dragon vein is too terrifying. Until now, Long Chen still has a feeling of dreaming. One star dragon vein is stronger than the 8.5 sky vein dragon energy of Shaishentong. In terms of quality, the gap is too big. Sha Tiantong's Tianmai Dragon Chi is like 8 grass ropes, while Long Chen's star dragon vein is like a steel bar. Most importantly, this steel bar is thicker than the 8 grass ropes combined. Long Chen fighting against it is like bullying a child. However, strong is strong, but it can't last long. If you burn the power of the stars and condense the 8-star battle body, it can only last for 1 breath at most. Long Chen was not overwhelmed, and immediately discovered the origin of the stars and dragon veins. Weakness. On the one hand, the reason why it can't last is that he has just owned the star dragon vein, and his lack of control will lead to the leakage of power and cause a large area of waste. On the other hand, it is because there are too few star dragon veins. If he can condense another star dragon vein, his endurance will definitely increase greatly. Senior, didn't you say that Tianxing Narcissus can help me gather the power of the stars? Now is the time. Long Chen said. Now that the fruits of Tianxing Narcissus are ripe, now is the time when they are needed. He needs to gather more Tianmai dragon energy, otherwise, if he meets several strong men like Shaishentong at the same time, his power will be destroyed. Appear insufficient. No, if you want to use the power of Tianxing Narcissus, at least you have to condense the dragon energy of 9 heavenly veins. Chen Kuan-ding said. But Long Chen was stunned. If I could condense 9 dragon energy, why would I use them? If it is an ordinary 9-star descendant, the first Tianmai dragon energy can use its power. But you are different. Your star dragon veins are too strong, and you need too much power from heaven and earth. If you use Tianxing Narcissus too early, you will be easily rejected by the Tao of Heaven. Disappear. Therefore, if you have money, you need to spend it wisely. I suggest that you better condense 9 star dragon veins, or in other words, after condensing 10 sky vein dragon energy, you can use the star Narcissus. It is best to break through the 13 advanced human emperors in one go, because you can't complete it in one go. After the barriers of the heavens are formed, it will be troublesome. It is very difficult to break through. Even if you break through, it will consume a lot of time. You know, what you need most now is time. Chen Kuan-ding said. After what Chen Kuan-ding said, Long Chen immediately understood that if he used Tianxing Narcissus emotionally, he would be easily captured by Heavenly Tao. When Heavenly Tao shuts off the power of destiny to him, he would be finished. He needs to break through to the human sovereign realm in one fell swoop without Tiandao noticing, otherwise it will be really troublesome if Tiandao targets him. According to the meaning of the Chen Kuan-ding, the Tianxing Narcissus can speed up the condensing of the stars and dragon veins, but once used, it will cause a reaction from the heavens, so it must be used at the most critical moment. Well, Tianxing Narcissus can't count on it for the time being, and I can only rely on myself. It's just that the first Tianmai Dragon Chi needs such terrifying energy. According to the law of the practice world, what the second Tianmai Dragon Chi needs energy, at least double that of the first one. But you don't have to worry, although you consume a lot, but with the blessing of a Tianmai Dragon energy, your devouring speed is very amazing. As long as you have enough energy, your ascension speed will definitely be faster than 99% of people. Chen Kuan-ding comforted. Long Chen said with a bitter face, you also said that to have enough energy, Just the word enough is extremely difficult. Kyan Kunding smiled and said, "What are you afraid of? If you can find it, you can find it. If you can't find it, you can grab it. In this Tianmai profound realm, there are countless opportunities and treasures. As long as you have the ability, these are not problems." After Tiankuan Ding's reminder, Long Chen suddenly regained his spirits. Yes, Tianmai profound realm has countless treasures and opportunities are everywhere. Sha Dan Tong can find such a treasure, so why can't he find it? He already possessed a dragon energy of Tianmai, the Qingkuan Cauldron, Yaoyue Cauldron, Dragon Bone Shiyue and Fantian Seal have all awakened, so he is still afraid of it? Long Chen didn't even bother to recover, he just patted his ass, and flew straight to the depths of the Tianmai profound realm. Boom! While flying, suddenly the ground exploded, and a huge head drilled out from the ground, opened its bloody mouth and bit Long Chen. It was a centipede-like strange insect, with a head that was thousands of miles tall, like a mountain, with a round mouth and countless barbs. If it was swallowed by it, it would never come out again. The aura of the strange insect was astonishing, and it was a 5th-grade God-Emperor level existence. It rushed out of the ground, and the violent coercion made the world tremble, and the space was about to freeze. "You idiot actually want to eat me, why are you thinking about it?" Seeing the strange insect killing him, Long Chen was furious and cursed. This strange bug is at the level of the 5th-rank God Emperor, and Long Chen's meat is not enough to stuff his teeth. If Long Chen enters its territory, it should make some movement or release breath to scare Long Chen away. This guy is lying in ambush here and wants to eat him. Evil Moon shocking / Long Chen snorted coldly, and the dragon bone Shiyue slashed out. The stars were shining brightly, and the power of the stars today can be born with thoughts and do whatever you want. Puff! Black blood splattered, and the huge head was chopped into 2 pieces by Keel Shiyue, and the momentum remained unabated, and the body was torn apart with a single knife. The terrifying 5th-grade God Emperor level monster couldn't stop the Keel Evil Moon from being cut, and Long Chen himself was shocked. Only then did he realize that the Keel Evil Moon after waking up became even more terrifying. With a big move, Long Chen pulled the huge corpse out of the hole and threw it into the chaotic space. "Is there something down here?" Looking at the cave, Long Chen saw a dark red divine light flickering, and with a flicker of his figure he rushed directly into the cave. Wow, this stupid bug actually found such a treasure. Entering the burrow, Long Chen discovered that there was a magical magma pool in the ground. The red liquid in the magma pool was tumbling, and there was a strong fluctuation of destiny. "What are you going to do?" "The world is in the way of heaven and earth." Long Chen was stunned. "I want to absorb its destiny power." "Idiot, this is the essence of destiny. Although it has the power of destiny, it can't absorb much directly. But you can use it to induce the power of destiny thousands of times more than itself." Qian Kuan Ding scolded. "You mean Shaishentong?" Long Chen suddenly called out. "That's right, under the altar arranged by Shaishentong, there is such a piece of destiny spirit. He used the power of hundreds of millions of demons to arrange the altar, and attracted the power of destiny to come, helping him to condense the 9th line of heaven." "Dragon Chi," Qian Kuan Ding said. "But I don't know how to arrange altars." Long Chen said he didn't have connections like Sha Tiantong. "With me here, set up Mao's altar. I will teach you to condense 4 runes and form a 4-element formation, which can be done in a stick of incense," Qian Kuan Ding said. As he spoke, the runes all over his body trembled, and messages gradually appeared in Long Chen's mind. Long Chen quickly formed seals with both hands, forming hundreds of seals in one breath, for runes circulated all over Long Chen's body. Boom! The 4 runes that were spinning rapidly suddenly stopped, spread rapidly, and stood at the 4 corners of the Shenqi. Bang 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 bang. The 4 runes exploded and turned into 4 pillars reaching the sky, piercing the earth, and then the pool of gods boiled, and the marrow began to burn. And the moment the divine marrow burned, the heavens and the earth trembled, and the power of destiny from all directions rushed here like a tide. At this time, Long Chen didn't need the Qiankuan cauldron to command him. He sat cross-legged in the void, and the divine ring behind his back opened up the sky and the earth, forming a huge vortex, crazily devouring the energy between the sky and the earth. The stars flowed behind Long Chen, each star burned, and flames separated from the stars and slowly converged in one direction. When he saw this scene, Long Chen couldn't help but be ecstatic. The second Tianmai Dragon Chi was about to be born. Boom! Suddenly the world trembled, and a bloody meteor shot towards Long Chen. The terrifying coercion made Long Chen have difficulty breathing. Chapter 5602. That bloody meteor was not big, with a diameter of less than 100 feet, but its pressure was astonishing, and its aura was no worse than that of Sha Tiantong. The most frightening thing is that this attack is extremely abrupt. Just as Long Chen discovered it, it came to Long Chen. Boom! With a bang, a bronze tripod blocked Long Chen's body. The two collided, and the bloody meteor exploded. And the Yaoyue cauldron was also in that terrifying impact, flying upside down several feet before stabilizing its body. Seeing this scene, Long Chen couldn't help being surprised and delighted. That blow was extremely terrifying, and Yaoyue cauldron was so easily released caught it. At this time, he was at a critical stage. The second dragon energy of the sky vein was gathering, and he could not be distracted. Stupid human race, gods and gods of heaven and earth, you can't get your hands on them, you have to give up your position or die. There are two paths, you choose yourself. At this moment, a cold shout came. As the voice fell, a group of people appeared in front of Long Chen. There were not many people in this group, only a few hundred people. But their aura startled Long Chen. Among the hundreds of people, there were 8 eight-veined heavenly saints, and the rest were all 7-veined heavenly saints. The first person had already stepped into the realm of 9 veins. This group of people is tall, with amazing blood, and the terrifying monster aura is almost suffocating. Their whole bodies were covered with blood-colored chips, as if they were wearing blood crystal battle armor, and their bald heads were also covered with pieces of spar, which looked extremely hideous. Familiar breath, Long Chen was startled when he saw these people, and then he remembered that when he was on his way with Feng Xinyue, he encountered a battlefield, saw the blood-colored crystal block on the ground, and learned that there was a blood-colored monster lizard family. And these people in front of them are the powerhouses of the blood crystal monster lizard clan, and their aura is absolutely unmistakable. Long Chen did not expect that at this time, he would meet the strong members of the blood crystal monster lizard clan, and the strength of the blood crystal monster lizard clan really frightened Long Chen. Although there were only a few hundred people, each of them was the best of the best, the best of the best. It was the first time Long Chen had encountered such a terrifying lineup when he entered the Tianmai profound realm. Seeing Long Chen looking at him, the strong man of the blood crystal monster lizard clan didn't say a word, let alone give up his position. His face sank and he waved his hand. "You kill him. I'll collect the essence." While the man was talking, he actually took out a mysterious pottery pot, and dragging the pottery pot with his big hands, countless blood-colored runes lit up on the pottery pot, and a terrifying coercion rose up. Hoo. The other strong men of the blood crystal monster lizard clan didn't say a word. Their spar armor lit up, and the power of the sky surged, and they rushed towards Long Chen. "Linger, resist for me, you'll be fine soon." Long Chen said to Yaoyue Cauldron that he was at a critical moment, and the dragon energy of the second Tianmai was condensing. If it was interrupted, all previous efforts would be wasted. And once the second Tianmai dragon energy is condensed and formed, even if it is only the weakest prototype, it will be considered a success, because once the prototype is formed, it will be a matter of time before it grows up. But once it is interrupted, the power of the stars will flow backwards, which will cause trauma to the stars. This kind of trauma is very serious. It will not only affect Long Chen's condensing of the dragon veins of the stars, but also hurt the original power. The consequences are very terrible. Seeing these guys being so arrogant, Long Chen couldn't help being furious, but no matter how angry he was, he had to endure it. At this time, he couldn't fight at all. "Don't worry, brother Long Chen, I can handle it." The Yaoyue cauldron agreed, and suddenly its body magnified and turned into a transparent cauldron. using itself as a barrier to wrap Long Chen without affecting his absorption of energy from heaven and earth. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, the strong men of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan had already arrived. They held long spears and huge axes, and slashed at the Yaoyue cauldron. The berserk force smashed on the Yaoyue cauldron, causing a shocking explosion. The powerful members of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan use heavy weapons, and every blow is accompanied by the power to destroy the world. Every blow can erupt terrifying ripples, the ripples spread, the sky and the earth roar, and the momentum is frightening. However, the Yaoyue cauldron firmly protected Long Chen, and despite the violent bombardment of these people, she was still as stable as a rock. It has to be said that Yao Linger is too strong at this time, and the runes all over her body have been strengthened by the Qiankuan cauldron. Although it is a high-quality imitation, after being blessed by the genuine product, her strength is extremely amazing. How so? The powerful members of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan attacked wildly, but the Yaoyue cauldron was safe and sound. They were all stunned. They had never seen such a terrifying magic soldier. A bunch of trash, get out of here. Those strong men of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan attacked with all their strength, but they still couldn't break through Yao Linger's blockade, and the strong men at the head were furious. At this time, all the runes on the clay pot in his hand were activated, aiming at Long Chen's direction, obviously ready, but everyone couldn't do anything about it. The leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan waved his hand, and a golden warhammer appeared in his hand. The whole body of the warhammer was golden, and the hammerhead was the size of a tabletop, with densely packed runes engraved on it. As soon as it appeared, the earth sank suddenly, and the terrifying weight actually oppressed the space, causing the void to slightly distort. The weight of this golden warhammer is astonishing. When it appeared in the hands of the leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan, densely packed runes slowly lit up, and the berserk power made the universe tremble, and the sky and the earth changed color. Die! The leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan stopped shouting, and the golden hammer in his hand flew across the void, hitting the Yaoyue cauldron like a golden lightning bolt. The golden warhammer slashed across the void exploded, and a passage was forcibly pierced through. The scene was extremely horrifying. Boom! With a shocking explosion, Long Chen suddenly felt as if his head had been hit by a hammer. His head was almost shaken into a paste, his ears were roaring, and the outside world could not be heard at all. Facing the attack of the golden warhammer, Yao Linger resisted with all her strength, but was still sent flying. The blow was too terrifying, and she couldn't protect Long Chen. Long Chen was so shocked that his 3 souls and 6 souls were about to fly out, and he could no longer concentrate on controlling the power of the stars. At that moment, Long Chen was shocked and angry, and hurriedly looked into the divine ring. Fortunately, at the critical moment, a 3-foot-long dragon vein emerged with faint starlight. Damn idiots, you almost ruined my business. Long Chen called out. Luckily, if the attack was 1 step earlier, it would be completely over. Long Chen looked at the strong men of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan. His eyes were full of forests. Cold killing intent. Just as the Yaoyue cauldron was blown away, the energy between the heaven and the earth broke away from the control of the formation in an instant, rushing towards the weird clay pot. Stupid human race, go die and return the power of destiny that you have defiled. The leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan held a golden warhammer and pierced his arms with force. 8 Tianmai Dragon Chi and a translucent Tianmai Dragon Chi lit up all over his body. The hammer pierced through the sky and went straight to Long Chen's head. Falling, the power of this blow is even more terrifying than the one just now. 8-star battle body, open. Long Chen shouted angrily, the divine ring trembled, the sea of stars covered the sky, 8 stars lit up like the sun, and 2 dragon energy, 1 large and 1 small, floated in the sea of stars. At that moment, the unprecedented power of the stars instantly covered Long Chen's whole body. Facing the full blow of the leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan, Long Chen waved the keel bone in his hand, tearing the void, and thousands of people wailed. Boom, on the pitch-black dragon bone evil moon, dots of stars emerged, and they slashed heavily on the golden warhammer. With a loud bang, the golden warhammer was slashed and exploded by the dragon bone evil moon, turning into gold powder all over the sky. Chapter 5603 The golden hammer was slashed by Long Chen, and along with it, the arm of the leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan was also shattered. When Long Chen summoned the 8-star battle body, although Long Chen knew that with the blessing of Tianmai Dragon Energy, the power of the 8-star battle body would skyrocket to a point that even he was afraid of. However, he didn't expect that with just a random blow, he directly chopped off the opponent's terrifying golden hammer. The leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan was terrified and hurriedly retreated, but Long Chen didn't give him a chance at all, and the Keel evil moon fell head-on. Boom! With a loud bang, the leader of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard clan was chopped into ashes with a single blow, and his body and spirit were completely destroyed. Evil moon shocking slash, Long Chen stopped drinking, and Keel Shiyue turned in the void, and with the waist as the axis, he slashed out. Puff puff! A black knife shadow cut down the sky, covering all the powerful members of the Blood Crystal Monster Lizard family. This knife distorted the void. These people didn't even groan, and were cut into blood mist by the knife. There are 3 swords in total, 1 to smash the warhammer, 2 to kill the leader, and 3 to clear the miscellaneous fish. After these 3 swords, the land where it was originally sinks rapidly, and the void is also covered with cracks, and it will collapse at any time. After the 3 strikes, the sea of stars behind Long Chen kept trembling, suddenly dimmed rapidly, and finally disappeared. Sure enough, just as I thought, the power is so violent that it can't last long after all. Long Chen couldn't help but sighed. The 8-star battle body under the blessing of Tianmai Dragon Chi is so powerful that it subverts Long Chen's cognition, but the consumption is too fast, and the power of the stars is exhausted in just one breath. At this moment, the owner of the clay pot was dead, but it was still conscientiously devouring the remaining power of destiny in the world. When the power of destiny disappeared, its mouth was automatically sealed. Long Chen was stunned, and immediately came to the pot and grabbed it. The clay pot didn't struggle, let alone resist, allowing Long Chen to hold it in his hands like an unowned object. Seeing that it didn't resist, Long Chen probed into it with the power of his consciousness. When he felt the vast and endless power of destiny, Long Chen shouted excitedly, "Hold the grass, get rich." Long Chen didn't expect that the pot had its own space, and the pure power of destiny was accumulated in it. "It's really rich." Even the Qiankuan cauldron couldn't help but say. Long Chen was very excited, but soon he calmed down. No, he has already stepped into the realm of the 9 meridians. It stands to reason that he needs the power of destiny most at this time. He doesn't use it himself, but he has wake up. Could it be that this power of destiny was collected for others? Long Chen couldn't help being taken aback. If his guess was true, he could let such a terrifying powerhouse help him collect the power of destiny, but he didn't dare to get involved. How strong is this person? Correct. Long Chen suddenly sank his mind into the chaotic space. Sure enough, there were hundreds of heavenly Dao fruits on the heavenly Dao trees. Each fruit was covered with purple ripples, like scales, with powerful earth power inside. Long Chen picked the most powerful fruit among them, carefully sensed it and shook his head. Not him. Long Chen's heart shook suddenly. On the way here, Long Chen felt the terrifying aura, which was left by the strong Blood Crystal Monster Lizard family. When surveying the battlefield at that time, Long Chen was extremely shocked. He had never felt such a strange power of earth. Later, he realized that this was a variation of the power of earth, called the power of rock, also known as the power of crystal. At that time, Long Chen had a premonition that the person who shot was definitely a super terrifying powerhouse. However, now this heavenly Dao fruit is not the same as that person's fluctuations, that is to say, this person is not that person at all, and even Long Chen has a hunch that this person's collection of the power of destiny is likely to be collected for that person. Such a powerful person is willing to work for him. I'm afraid this person's strength is not inferior to that of Brahma and Li Changging. A smile gradually appeared on Long Chen's face. The stronger the opponent, the more excited Long Chen was. Looking at the heavenly Dao fruit in his hand, a smile appeared on the corner of Long Chen's mouth. Li Qi Mingyuan, I won't give you this fruit. I want to get you the strongest one. The power of thick soil of Li Qi and Song Mingyuan is very powerful, but their power of thick soil is actually an all-encompassing power of the earth. The earth, carrying all things without taking credit, is inherent, the terrain is Kuan, and the gentleman is known as the virtue of carrying things. This kind of power of the earth has a strong defense and is endless, but it is not good at attacking. Because fighting with the strength of the thick soil would violate its nature, Li Qi and Song Mingyuan were strong, but they were defending but not attacking, and the Dragon Blood Legion had always been known for attacking tough ones. As a result, the two were troubled. But if you get a crystal system heavenly Dao fruit, it will be different. If one of the two people is a crystal system, they will become good at attacking fortifications and have amazing lethality. The two cooperated, one attacking and one defending, one strong and one soft, attacking and defending together, both hard and soft. The two cooperated, and the burst of power was unpredictable by Long Chen. Thinking of such a terrifying power, Long Chen's heart became hot. He grabbed the jar, ran for a stick of incense, and found a quiet place. Long Chen directly untied the seal of the clay pot, and the endless power of destiny gushed out. The divine ring behind Long Chen lit up, and the two heavenly veins of dragon energy flowed rapidly, crazily devouring the power of destiny in the pot. The first Tianmai Dragon Qi has grown to its limit, and the power of destiny it devours will eventually be sent to the Sea of Stars, laying the foundation for the condensing of the third Tianmai Dragon Qi. And that little dragon vein grew rapidly under the nourishment of Tianmai Dragon Qi. In the blink of an eye, it grew from a few feet to 10 feet, 100 feet, 1,000 feet. As Qian Kuanding said, as long as there is enough power of destiny, Long Chen's growth rate is extremely astonishing. It only took an hour, and the second Tianmai dragon energy has grown to the limit. At this time, Long Chen has already grown up on two 10,000 Li dragon veins. However, in the pottery pot, there is still the power of destiny gushing out continuously, and there are two star dragon veins devouring wildly, without any waste at all. Soon the third Tianmai dragon energy was also condensed. This time, no one disturbed Long Chen, and everything went smoothly. The growth rate of the third Tianmai Dragon Qi has obviously slowed down. It's not that Long Chen's speed has slowed down, but that the power of destiny in the clay pot is running out. In the end, the third Tianmai Dragon Qi grows to at about 5,000 miles. The power of destiny in the pot was exhausted. Long Chen was not reconciled, and unfolded the vision to devour the energy between the heaven and the earth. However, the energy of the surrounding heaven and earth was drained, and the third sky vein did not grow a little bit, so Long Chen had to give up. Long Chen knew that it was impossible to condense the Tianmai dragon energy in an ordinary way, and he had to keep looking for opportunities. At this moment, Long Chen had 3 heavenly vein dragon qi. Filled with the power of the stars, he pushed the keel back to Ziyu's back, and the thunder wings trembled behind him, galloping towards the depths of the heavenly vein profound realm. Chapter 5604 Boom! With a bang, the earth exploded, and amidst the endless fluttering of runes, a figure flew out of the earth. 3 meridians Dzogchen. Long Chen looked up to the sky and laughed loudly. He found another treasure land, and it was still a land without an owner. After half an hour, the third dragon energy of Tianmai had already entered the state of great perfection. As Qian Kuanding said, as long as there is enough energy, Long Chen's promotion speed is amazing. For Tianmai Dragon Qi, the first one consumes the least, the second one doubles the first one, and the third one doubles the second one again. Although Tianmai Dragon Qi consumes the power of heaven and earth astonishingly, the power it brings to Long Chen is also unambiguous, and it also increases exponentially. The changes brought to Long Chen by the 3 Tianmai Dragon Qi are astonishing. This change is not only reflected in the improvement of quality and quantity, but the increase of each Tianmai Dragon Qi allows Long Chen to control the power of the stars. Greatly improved. The most important thing is that the 3 veins are opened, and the power of the stars becomes stronger. Even if it explodes with all its strength, it can last for half a stick of incense. The time of half a stick of incense can bring great security to Long Chen. No matter how many enemies, at least they can attack when they advance, and they can defend when they retreat. However, what made Long Chen even more excited was that Dragon Bone Evil Moon gave him a promise that no matter how terrifying the power of the stars it possessed, it could control it. Long Gu Xia's promise made Long Chen more courageous. If the power of the 3 veins is integrated into one blow, who can resist such a terrifying power? Boom! Suddenly there was a roaring sound in the distance. The sound was very soft, but Long Chen, who had condensed 3 heavenly dragon energy, had amazing perception and immediately caught the direction. Call, the thunder wings behind Long Chen trembled, and the person turned into a human-shaped lightning and galloped away. After running wildly for a stick of incense, there was a great booming sound in front of him, and rays of divine light shot up into the sky, piercing the void, and roars and growls came and went continuously. Obviously, there was a fierce battle ahead. As it was approaching, Long Chen finally saw the scene in front of his eyes clearly, and couldn't help being shocked. He saw countless figures fighting wildly. Human race, blood race, demon race, demon race. Long Chen glanced roughly, and suddenly found that there were 70 or 80 races fighting wildly on the battlefield, and it became a mess. Long Chen looked at the core of the battlefield, and a beam of light shot up into the sky, forming an enchantment. Inside the enchantment, on a pair of golden battle armor, divine splendor surged, as if it was recovering. Boom, boom, boom. In front of the beam of light, a golden torrent surged back and forth. The golden torrent was composed of a group of strong men wearing golden armor, riding golden horses, and holding golden spears. It's them? When Long Chen saw this group of people, he immediately recognized them as the neighbors next to him when he entered the Tianmai profound realm. Long Chen said that they were handsome, and one of them, Qing Shuang, even responded to Long Chen, which was considered acquaintance. But what shocked Long Chen was that at this moment, the woman, with the 9 veins of dragon energy surging on her back, was holding a golden battle spear, and even the war horse under her crotch was already a spirit beast of the 8-veined heavenly sage level. At this time, she was united with horse and man, leading the golden armored knight to charge back and forth, invincible wherever she passed, and no one could stop her. The fluctuation of the golden battle armor is very similar to the fluctuation of their qi and blood. Could it be something from their clan? Long Chen saw the key point at a glance. Puff, Long Chen was so bold that he rushed directly into the battlefield and pierced through the head of a 6-veined heavenly sage from the demon race with a single finger. The power of the soul exploded, and the soul was searched directly violently. Some pictures flooded into Long Chen's mind, and Long Chen immediately understood. It has been several days since the treasure appeared in the world, but there is a terrifying barrier around the treasure, and no one can open it, so they can only wait. And just an hour ago, the barrier exploded, and the strong men guarding here all had red eyes, and rushed towards the barrier one after another, wanting to take the golden armor as their own. However, at this moment, the golden knights appeared, and they were unstoppable as one. They rushed to the battle armor immediately, but they didn't expect that there was an enchantment outside the battle armor, and no one could open it. But with the experience just now, the enchantment may explode at any time. Once the enchantment explodes, anyone has the opportunity to take it away. Therefore, even in the periphery, everyone has rushed forward frantically. Even through the barrier, the golden battle armor can feel its suffocating coercion. Territory. Puff puff, Long Chen charged forward all the way, and his ears were full of the sound of flesh and blood bursting. The powerhouses of all races seemed to be crazy at this time. Long Chen didn't care about them at all. Run to the center of the battlefield to kill. Long Chen moved forward so fast, blocking and killing gods, and soon attracted the attention of the masters. Boom, the void exploded, and one person was surrounded by 8 heavenly veins of dragon energy, and the long sword in his hand slashed down at Long Chen. It was a Blood Clan's 8-veined heavenly saint. At this time, Long Chen was about to rush into the Blood Clan's team. As the leader of the Blood Clan, he was originally rushing to the front. At this time, there was a threat from the rear, so he turned around and killed immediately. Boom! Facing the sword of the strong Blood Clan, Long Chen stretched out his big hand, and the stars flowed on the big hand, and with a bang, he grabbed the man's long sword with his bare hands. What? The vampires yelled in horror. Their leader is the 8-veined heavenly sage-level powerhouse. With a full blow, this human race actually took it with bare hands? Click! Long Chen's big hand slammed hard, and with a bang, the long sword was broken by Long Chen. The strong blood man's arm was numb from the shock. Looking at the broken sword in his hand, he fell into a daze. Careful! Suddenly the strong men of the Blood Clan exclaimed. Boom! The broken sword in Long Chen's hand fell like a galaxy pouring down. The moment the broken sword fell, it burst because it couldn't bear the power of Long Chen's stars. The broken sword shattered and turned into starlight that shot out from the sky. In a straight line before Long Chen's eyes, all the strong people instantly turned into nothingness. The 8-veined heavenly sage of the Blood Clan was killed before he understood what was going on. Long Chen stepped into the void, and the person had already rushed out, and his figure disappeared from the blood camp in an instant. Long Chen's sword was shining brightly, illuminating the entire battlefield, and instantly attracted the attention of countless people. When they saw that the battlefield was cleared of a road, and a black figure galloped towards the golden battle armor, countless strong men were startled. They were taken aback by Long Chen's terrifying blow. It's him! The golden spear flying at the core of the battlefield, Qing, who was fighting fiercely, also saw Long Chen. When she saw Long Chen's figure, she couldn't help being surprised. She didn't expect to meet Long Chen here. It's that little boy. A golden armored warrior beside him couldn't help exclaiming. Stop talking nonsense. Qing drank coldly. This guy didn't remember anything else, but he remembered this title very deeply. No matter who he is, the Tsanghuang battle armor is a relic of our ancestors. We are determined to win it. Whoever snatches it from us is our enemy. Qing shouted loudly with a firm attitude, and after she finished speaking, she looked at Long Chen coldly. Chapter 56:05 Boom! Just after Qing finished speaking, a 9-veined celestial sage of the demon clan fought her head-on, but was knocked back by her shot. Although she was a woman, her heroic attitude was not inferior to that of a man. I don't know if she showed it to Long Chen on purpose, so that he could retreat in the face of difficulties. This blow was so powerful that the strong demon was sent flying far away. "Do you read this to me?" Qing voice was very loud, resounding through the entire battlefield. Long Chen could naturally hear it. It seemed that it was just as he expected. "Little girl, don't talk so big. I didn't come here for that battle armor, but if you threaten me like that, maybe I will really grab it." Long Chen rushed forward and shouted. "Turn around!" The war horse under Qing seat swung its tail, carrying the coercion of knocking away the 9-veined heavenly saint powerhouse, and at a big turning point, led the golden armored knights to kill back. "What do you want?" Qing kept spearing, and she still had time to respond to Long Chen. "Sounds good, brother. How about I help you get that armor?" Long Chen said with a smile. The woman named Qing was suddenly furious. This Long Chen was open-mouthed, and his words were frivolous, which was quite teasing. "What are you, stupid human race, die!" However, before Qing could respond to Long Chen, a huge figure appeared in front of Long Chen, and the soaring devilish energy infected the sky, and the whole world went dark. Qing and the others were taken aback. It turned out that near the battle armor, there was actually a demon clan's Jumai Tianxing hidden. The 9 Meridians heavenly sage of the demon race was extremely sinister, and kept hiding his aura until Long Chen came close and kept slaughtering the strong demon race, before he slammed out. Careful! Seeing the 9 veins heavenly sage of the demon race, although Qing hated Long Chen's tone, she still kindly reminded her. Boom! As soon as the demon strongman appeared, he opened his mouth wide, and the 9-dragon energy behind him disappeared in an instant, and a beam of light wrapped around 9 dragons shot straight at Longchen. It has to be said that this demon powerhouse is not only terrifying in strength, but also extremely insidious in character. This attack has been stored for a long time, and it explodes instantly, without giving Longchen time to react. Snapped, however, his speed was fast, and Longchen's speed was even faster. A string of phantoms appeared in Xingqian's big hand, and they were drawn on his face the moment he spit out the beam of light. Puff puff. The head of the demon powerhouse tilted, and the beam of light shot out, sticking to Longchen's body, sweeping across the entire battlefield. Countless demon powerhouses, and some unlucky ones were swept away, and even people and weapons were instantly turned into dust. This blow contained all the power of the demon powerhouse. Without any reservation, even the 8-veined heavenly saint powerhouse was instantly killed, leaving no room for resistance. The divine light, which was tens of thousands of miles long, swept across the battlefield, and finally hit the barrier of the beam of light. With a loud bang, the divine light shattered. Puff! The beam of light was shattered by the barrier, and the strong demon spewed out a mouthful of blood, and his whole body swelled rapidly. He was actually backlashed by the force, and the energy in his body began to be out of control. The strong demon had a look of horror. He wanted to yell, but couldn't at all. Longchen's face changed, and he didn't expect it to turn out like this. This guy has just advanced to the 9 Meridians Heaven Sage, and he is still very unfamiliar with the control of the 9 Meridian power. In order to kill Longchen, he burst out with all his strength without leaving any room. Longchen's slap made his attack hit the barrier, and the backlash ignited all the power in his body. Boom! Without even thinking about it, he kicked the demon strong man in the abdomen. The demon strong man had no strength to resist at all, so he went straight to hit the beam of light, and Longchen flew backwards with his kick. Boom! The demon powerhouse collided with the beam of light, and there was a shocking explosion. The violent demonic energy swallowed the sky, and the power of the vast energy and blood surged. The waves pushed out far away. Everyone was taken aback. The power imbalance of the demon powerhouse led to self-explosion, but the terrifying power still did not break the barrier of light beam. It can be seen that the time for this beam of light barrier has not yet come, and with their current strength, they cannot destroy the barrier yet. Seeing this scene, everyone's attacks eased up a little, and they were no longer as desperate as before. Little demons, dare to be arrogant in front of your third master Long? The mantis is like a cart, and it is beyond its control. Longchen said disdainfully. Longchen just slapped and kicked a terrifying 9-veined heavenly sage. At this time, if he didn't say some pretentious words, wouldn't it be the same as Genie Yeshing? With one palm and one kick, Longchen killed a Jumai heavenly sage. Although there were elements of trickery and luck, everyone was still frightened. The strong men of all races couldn't understand this human man wearing a black cannon. What is the sacred place? If you can help us get the pale yellow battle armor, our golden armored knights of Xingming Shenzong will always remember your favor. As long as you say a word, let me Lu Qingxuang go through fire and water, and I will not hesitate. The woman named Qingxuang exclaimed loudly. The so-called expert will know if there is one as soon as he makes a move. Although Longchen is just a casual blow, his calm and relaxed appearance all show Longchen's calmness and ease. This is not a coincidence at all, but real strength, otherwise Longchen would not be so calm after a blow, as if everything was expected. Lu Qingxuang immediately heard Longchen's previous words. She was still a little angry because of this, thinking that she was offended, but at this moment, she had to seriously consider Longchen's words. Who wants any favor from you? As long as you are a good brother, that's enough. Longchen curled his lips, said lazily, and walked towards the light beam barrier while talking. Longchen's foolish appearance, as well as that hooligan-like tone, did not match his identity and strength at all, and Lu Qingxuang clenched his silver teeth in anger. She even reported her identity and name, and even threw out the golden armored knights of the Xingming Shenzong. The Xingming Shenzong is a well-known existence in the Tianyuan world, and the Golden Armored Knights are the strongest army of the Xingming Shenzong. Status symbol. How precious is the favor of the Golden Armored Knights of Xingming Shenzong. And Long Qin didn't want human favors, just to get a verbal advantage. Even though Lu Qingshuang had read countless people, he had never seen such a fool. This idiot. The other strong members of the Golden Armored Knights of the Xingming Shenzong were furious, thinking that Long Chen was clearly teasing Lu Qingshuang on purpose, and they were about to curse, but Lu Qingshuang stopped him with a wave of his hand. Lu Qingshuang said coldly, "If you have the ability to get the pale yellow armor, don't say a word, even if you call it 10,000 times, it's up to you." Although he was a little angry, Lu Qingshuang suppressed his anger and used his words to kill Long Chen first. In this way, even if Long Chen couldn't help her get the pale yellow armor, he would not brazenly fight for it. At least, one person was ruled out. Enemy. 10,000 sounds are too many. I don't have that much time to listen, one sound is enough. Long Chen laughed. At this time, he had already walked to the boundary of the light pillar, and then, under the shocked eyes of countless people, a pair of big hands pressed on the boundary so unscrupulously. Chapter 56:06 Countless people were shocked when they saw Long Chen's actions. The barrier of the beam of light was unshakable. The previous attack by the demon race 9 Meridian's heavenly sacred powerhouse was instantly shattered and got a backlash. Even the final self-destruction failed to shake it at all, and Long Chen actually touched it with both hands? Long Chen's action made countless people hold their breath, and even Lu Qingshuang was taken aback. For violent destruction, Long Chen would be instantly crushed into powder. However, what everyone didn't expect was that when Long Chen's hands touched the barrier, endless runes rose from Long Chen's hands, spreading across the entire barrier in an instant. Boom! Then behind Long Chen, 3 star dragon veins emerged, and when they appeared, they rushed into the barrier instantly. Boom! 3 star dragon veins swam rapidly above the barrier, and the luster of the barrier quickly dimmed. Just as the 3 star dragon veins penetrated into the barrier, a transparent 3-foot dragon vein emerged behind Long Chen. Ilgo, the energy in this enchantment is beyond my imagination. The 3 star dragon veins devoured them with all their strength, and in just one breath, the 4th sky vein dragon energy appeared. This speed was astonishing. This also shows that the power of the 3 star dragon veins is astonishing, and the speed of devouring them is beyond imagination. When they enter the barrier, the luster of the barrier rapidly dims, and the breath also drops rapidly. At that moment, everyone was stunned. On the one hand, they didn't expect that Long Chen was just a 3-veined heavenly saint. On the other hand, they didn't expect that Long Chen could absorb the power of enchantment. Boom! The 3-foot dragon veins on Long Chen's back surged rapidly, 1 foot, 1 mile, 100 miles, 1,000 miles. The dragon veins surged rapidly, and the transparent body was already covered with stars. The speed of the surge and the terrifying coercion shocked everyone. Only then did they understand that Long Chen was absorbing the power of the enchantment to help him improve his realm. Ka. Under the crazily sucked by the stars and dragon veins, the enchantment quickly dried up, and fine cracks began to appear on the enchantment. The enchantment is about to explode, hurry up and grab the battle armor. Someone exclaimed. At this time, countless strong men frantically flocked towards the barrier like a tide, and Lu Qingshuang had already made preparations and rushed to the barrier immediately. Boom! With a bang, the barrier shattered, Long Chen's figure flickered, and he had already entered the barrier, reaching out to grab the battle armor. No, it's dangerous. Seeing this scene, Lu Qingshuang screamed out, "This pale yellow battle armor is the treasure of Xingming Shenzong. It must be used to inherit the blood, and at the same time collect it with a secret method. Otherwise, the ancient magic circle on the battle armor will explode, and anyone who touches it will be destroyed." People were blasted to ashes. However, it was too late. Long Chen's big hand had already touched the pale yellow battle armor. On the pale yellow battle armor, endless divine lights lit up, and the formation had been activated. Lu Qingshuang felt regretful in her heart. She should have told Long Chen earlier. However, she never thought that Long Chen could break through the formation so quickly. Even before, she had always doubted whether Long Chen could really destroy the barrier. When Long Chen touched the pale yellow battle armor, violent power poured into Long Chen's palm in an instant, and Long Chen's palm was in severe pain, and he almost couldn't hold it. Enduring the severe pain, Long Chen grabbed the armor and threw it towards Lu Qingshuang. Boom! The pale yellow battle armor streaked across the void, and the berserk force pierced through the void directly, flying straight towards Lu Qingshuang. Seeing this, Lu Qingshuang couldn't help being surprised and delighted. She didn't care to think about how Long Chen did it. She opened her mouth and bit her finger, swung it rapidly in the void, and wrote 16 blood-colored runes in one breath. "It is mine," someone yelled, shook his hand, and a large net covered the sky and blocked the flight path of the pale yellow armor. However, in the face of that person's obstruction, Lu Qingshuang didn't even look at it, and even a hint of sarcasm emerged from the corner of his mouth. Boom! The moment the big net touched the pale yellow battle armor, the light on the pale yellow battle armor lit up, and the big net was obviously under no force, but it instantly shattered into powder. Puff! The head of the owner of the big net exploded, and no one could see what was going on. A powerful 8-veined heavenly sage died so strangely. Boom, boom, boom. Countless people blocked it, but the result was the same as that person. No matter how strong you are, no matter if you touch it directly or attack from a long distance, once you touch the pale yellow armor, you will definitely die. The pale yellow battle armor flew in front of Lu Qingshuang and hit the net of blood talismans arranged by her. The pale yellow battle armor trembled suddenly and began to quickly absorb the power of Lu Qingshuang's blood. Don't let her succeed, let's kill them together. The human race is not worthy of having such a treasure. A strong man from another race roared loudly, such a terrifying treasure is so enviable, it must not be obtained by the race. Kill in an instant, the golden armored legion became the target of everyone's attack, and the endless powerhouses in the entire battlefield rushed over like a tide. Lu Qingshuang said more than once that the Zhanghuang battle armor is the treasure of their Xingming Shenzong, and no one else can collect it. But who would believe such words? In this world, more than 90% of the magic weapons are made by humans, but so what? Doesn't any race not have the magic weapon of the human race? As long as you surrender them, you must serve them as well. Are there still few cases of strong human beings dying under the magical weapons they created? They don't believe that in this world, there are magic soldiers who cannot be subdued. The reason why they can't is just that they are not strong enough. Get rich, get rich. Long Chen shouted excitedly. The enchantment was shattered, and there was a piece of destiny essence below, which could not be seen at a glance. Just as Long Chen expected, the treasure must have endless energy blessings, otherwise, they would not be able to offset the erosion of the years. This is his goal. Boom, Long Chen formed a seal with his hands, and 4 pillars reaching the sky rose into the sky. Under the blessing of the 4-image formation, the essence of destiny burned wildly, and the power of destiny between heaven and earth gathered rapidly. Long Chen stood above the void, with the 4-star dragon veins behind him frantically absorbing the power of heaven and earth, and the dragon energy of the 4th sky vein was rapidly expanding. 3,000 miles, 4,000 miles, 5,000 miles. With this terrifying growth rate, Long Chen was about to scream with excitement. Boom! With a bang, the 4th star dragon vein, with his own efforts and the help of the other 3-star dragon veins, reached the state of great perfection, with a body length of thousands of miles and a majestic momentum. The 4th star dragon vein consumes more power of heaven and earth than the sum of the previous 3. Similarly, the power contained in it is also the same. But one difference is that after it advanced to Dzogchen, its power quickly poured into the other 3-star dragon veins without any reservation, and the power of the 4-sky vein dragon energy was instantly balanced. This is not over, there is still a huge amount of energy in the sky and the earth, and the 4-star dragon veins devoured frantically. After a few breaths, a transparent dragon vein appeared again. Long Chen couldn't help but be ecstatic, and the 5th Tianmai dragon chi also appeared, but the consumption of the 5th Tianmai Dragon Chi was too terrifying. There was still about 1/5 of the energy left, but in the end it only allowed it to grow to after 100 miles or so, they all disappeared. The consumption of the 5th Star Dragon vein is a bit terrifying. Long Chen's heart trembled. Suddenly, Lu Qingshuang's angry shout came from a distance, followed by a terrifying aura. Long Chen hurriedly looked in that direction. Long Chen's heart beat wildly, and that pale yellow battle armor was actually worn on Lu Qingshuang's body. Now there's a good show to watch. Chapter 5607 Originally, the golden armored knights were besieged by countless strong men, and the situation was critical. The moment Lu Qingshuang put on the pale yellow battle armor, an ancient and vast coercion instantly spread. The aura of the ancient god emperor oppressed the sky, making one's soul tremble. At that moment, Lu Qingshuang shot out the spear in his hand as if possessed by the ancient god emperor. Boom! The golden divine radiance pierced the sky, and the 9-veined heavenly sage who had been fighting fiercely with Lu Qingshuang before was hit by a golden light and instantly turned into nothingness. The golden light extended to the end of the sky and the earth. Still a sea of people, all turned into nothingness. The entire battlefield was hit out of a restricted life zone, and the 9-veins heavenly sage was completely vulnerable in front of her. What a fierce battle armor! Although Long Chen knew that this battle armor was blessed with formations and protected by the Holy Spirit, and its combat power was amazing, he never thought that Lu Qingshuang's casual strike would possess such terrifying power. That is a powerful holy armor of the Emperor, and every rune is integrated with the blessings of their ancestors. This girl has just been recognized by the battle armor, and has not yet completed the recognition of the master, and can only display about 10% of her strength at most. Qian Kuan-ding said. 10%. Long Chen was taken aback. At that moment, Long Chen's heart was moved, and he even regretted giving the armor to Lu Qingshuang. If it was given to Guoran, he might be able to subdue the armor. The power of this blow contains the power of a god emperor, which is equivalent to a casual blow of a first-grade god emperor powerhouse in that era. Qian Kuan-ding said. A random blow from a first-grade emperor? Long Chen opened his mouth wide. Then That's right, you have a second-grade god emperor level puppet in your hand. Now, you should know how strong your puppet is? Qian Kuan-ding said. Now that there is a comparison, Long Chen immediately nodded like a chicken sucking rice, and the power of a first-rank god emperor has such terrifying power, so wouldn't the power of a second-rank god emperor be able to blow up this heavenly vein profound realm? However, you must not be arrogant. In the Tianmai profound realm, there are countless treasures like the Zhonghuang battle armor. If this girl can make this battle armor recognize the master, she can at least exert about 30% of the power of the battle armor. At that time, she is almost equivalent to the first-rank god emperor in ancient times. Qian Kuan-ding reminded. Boom! Lu Qingshuang killed Jumai Tianxing with a single blow. Her aura was astounding. Everyone knew that the situation was over. At this moment, she was already an invincible existence, and she didn't want to live any longer. Everyone fled the battlefield immediately. Her legs were like wheels. The endless sea of people receded like a tide. Lu Qingshuang didn't bother to hunt down these people, and led the golden armored knights to ride towards Long Chen. Lu Qingshuang took off the helmet, revealing a handsome face. Long Chen never expected that such a handsome face was hidden under the sturdy armor. She is very beautiful, with 2 small dimples on her face. When she looked at Long Chen, she had a smile on her face. She was a very gentle and pure girl. She was completely different from her decisive temperament before. Don't get involved. Thank you, Lu Qingshuang, have written down this favor. If you need help, you just need a word. Lu Qingshuang, will help you even if my body is broken. Lowered his head slightly, and saluted Long Chen. This girl looks very deceptive, she's a bit shrewd. Looking at Lu Qingshuang, Long Chen couldn't help thinking to himself. This Lu Qingshuang has a trick. He used to owe favors in the name of Xingming Shenzong before, but now he owes favors in his own name. Long Chen looked at Lu Qingshuang with a half-smile. Lu Qingshuang's face gradually turned red, and Long Chen's eyes were bright and deep, as if he could see all the secrets of the world. Just as Long Chen thought, she did think carefully, because if Xingming Shenzong was involved, the favor would be too great. Before, she didn't think so much under the excitement and directly involved Xingming Shenzong, but now she regretted it secretly and directly went to remedy it in her own name. In fact, she has no bad intentions, let alone trying to shirk responsibility, but if it is a favor owed by herself, she can repay it with her life, but the favor owed by the Zhongmin only cares about benefits, not affection. When Zhongmin doesn't recognize this favor because it doesn't suit the interests, she will be even more embarrassed. At this time, she was afraid to look into Long Chen's eyes, because from the smirk on Long Chen's face, she could see that Long Chen had seen through everything long ago. Don't talk about those useless things. I'm not interested in Xingming Shenzong, and am not interested in favors. You just need to fulfill your promise. Long Chen said with a smile. Lu Qingshuang immediately blushed with embarrassment. She is also an invincible arrogance, and she values dignity more than her life. How can she say those 3 words? The most important thing is that these 3 words are too nasty and indecent, but if you don't say them, you will become a dishonest villain. Lu Qingshuang's pretty face is as red as an apple. Hey, although you helped us, don't overdo it. Even without you, we can still get the yellow armor in the end. A knight in golden armor stood up beside Lu Qingshuang and said coldly. However, when he said this, he was actually a little guilty. There were countless strong people present, and many people, who had not burst out with all their strength, were all waiting for the opportunity. If there is no Long Chen, they also have a chance, but who can guarantee that among so many strong people, there will be no one with a treasure that can suppress the pale yellow armor? Long Chen shrugged non-committally, stretched lazily, patted the dust on his body, and turned to leave. Wait a minute, okay. Seeing that Long Chen was about to leave, Lu Qingshuang hurriedly stopped him. She didn't want to break her promise, but she couldn't say the remaining 2 words no matter what. Lu Qingshuang gritted his teeth. This pale yellow battle armor belongs to Yu Changfeng, the leader of our golden armored knights. His strength is more than 10 times mine. He is an unrivaled hero. He will definitely return this favor to you. Long Chen was taken aback, seeing Lu Qingshuang's eyes filled with pride and admiration when he mentioned Yu Changfeng. Long Chen immediately understood what was going on. It seems that this Lu Qingshuang has that Yu Changfeng in his heart, and that Yu Changfeng is 10 times stronger than her? This is a bit scary, and I don't know if what she said is true or not. What I said before was just a joke, don't take it seriously, and I don't need your favors, goodbye. Long Chen waved his hand and walked away. I will definitely repay this favor. Lu Qingshuang shouted. If you really want to pay back when you see a kind-hearted human race being bullied, remember to extend a helping hand, it will be considered as paying back my favor. After Long Chen finished speaking, the figure had disappeared. Looking at the direction where Long Chen disappeared, Lu Qingshuang had a complicated expression on her face. Although Long Chen said a joke, to her, she really broke her promise. At the same time, she also knew that the reason why Long Chen helped her was that on the one hand, everyone had a relationship, and on the other hand, it was because everyone was a human race, so they should help each other. However, should the human race really help each other? Those strong people of the human race just now attacked more fiercely than anyone else. However, Long Chen focused on the kind-hearted human race, that is to say, Long Chen thought she was kind, so he helped her. Leader Qingshuang, don't pay attention to this weird person, let's join Captain Changfeng as soon as possible. With the pale yellow battle armor, we will rule the world after Tianmai profound realm. It is full of pride. Let's go. Lu Qingshuang looked at the direction in which Long Chen was leaving, with a complex look on his face, finally sighed, and disappeared with everyone. Chapter 5608, 10 times? True or false? After Long Chen left, he still couldn't believe it. Lu Qingshuang was already a 9-veined heavenly sage, 10 times stronger than her. Isn't that a half-step human emperor? Is it true or not? There are some geniuses who are blessed by a family of luck. After advancing to the rank of Jumai Tianxing, they will use the magic weapon of luck to stimulate the power of their own destiny, so that the power of the heavenly veins can be integrated with the power of their own destiny. Once the fusion is successful, the strength will not only be 10 times the original, it's 100 times possible. Don't underestimate the people in the world. Qian Kuan-ding said. The power of life is fused with the power of Tianmai. What is that? Long Chen asked. For example, your confidant Tang Weiner, what color is her Tianmai dragon chi? Qian Kuan-ding asked. Transparent, isn't everyone's Tianmai dragon chi transparent? Long Chen asked, except for him, it seems that everyone's Tianmai dragon chi is the same. That's because she hasn't advanced to the 9 meridians heavenly sage yet. After she advances to the 9 meridians, the power of luck buried in her body by Feng Xinyue will explode, and she will become a real powerhouse. It can be said that Feng Xinyue has unreservedly blessed Tang Weiner with all the luck of the Fengshen lineage. After the fusion, Tang Weiner has an unlimited future. Qian Kuan-ding said. All the luck of the Fengshen lineage? Long Chen's heart was shocked. He knew that Feng Xinyue was kind to Tang Weiner, but he didn't expect that Feng Xinyue would put everything on Tang Weiner. The blessing of luck is actually a manifestation of the creation of Emperor Miao. To put it bluntly, it is to obtain the approval of heaven and earth in advance and reserve an admission ticket. Don't underestimate this admission ticket. It binds countless years of inherited luck to a person, which is enough to shake the power of heaven and change fate against the sky. Qian Kuan-ding said. Di Miao, these 2 words don't need to be explained, you know what it means. Tang Weiner's path has already been paved by Feng Xinyue. It can be seen that Feng Xinyue's love for Tang Weiner has already surpassed the general relationship between master and apprentice. In addition, there are countless strange people in the Tianmai profound realm, so it's right to be vigilant. Don't think that if you can easily defeat the ordinary 9 meridians heavenly sage, you will be invincible in the world. Qian Kuan-ding warned. What's wrong with being invincible? I said, why do you always attack Long Chen? Which group do you belong to? Hearing the Qiankuan cauldron teach Long Chen, Longgu Shiyue couldn't stand it anymore. How old is Long Chen? Do you need to talk about it? He is not fighting alone, isn't there me? If we fight side by side, who can be the opponent? Find out and let me see? As soon as Longgu Shiyue opened his mouth, Qian Kuan-ding stopped talking immediately. Longgu Shiyue was obviously a little angry and continued. When Long Chen and I fought to the death in the Tianwu continent, you didn't know which pit you were in. As a strong man, you need to maintain an invincible heart and be afraid of wolves and tigers. Have you seen any unrivaled hero who has become famous all over the world by working hard? Long Chen, don't listen to it, it is just a guy who only moves his mouth but doesn't move his hands. You listen to him, and he will take you into the ditch sooner or later. Listen to me, let's walk sideways in the Tianmai Xian realm, people block and kill people, gods block and kill gods, show the momentum of rampant Tianwu. Long Chen couldn't help laughing. Qian Kuan-ding had a conservative personality, and Long Guxie had a radical character. In fact, their views were not wrong. However, Qil Shiyue was obviously childish and often choked on the Qiankuan cauldron, and Qiankuan cauldron never quarreled with it. It simply stopped talking not because it was afraid of it, but because it felt that Qil Shiyue was too naive. It doesn't bother to talk about the dragon bone evil moon. As long as Long Chen understands the truth, Qian Kuan-ding knows Long Chen's temper that is not afraid of the ground that day. Just because it knows, it has to beat Long Chen all the time, lest this guy is lawless and can do anything. If it can't hold back, it's over. Qian Kuan-ding considers a lot of things and sees farther, but Dragon Bone Shiyue doesn't even look at it, and is even less lazy to think about it. It only believes that it will make itself stronger by defeating powerful enemies non-stop, and it must not shrink back. In order to prevent the two from quarreling, Long Chen immediately set off and galloped away. At this time, Long Chen no longer needed to distinguish the direction. He was already the heavenly sage of the 5 meridians, and his powerful perception enabled him to feel the power of destiny. The power of the Tianmai in the Tianmai profound realm spreads in a swirl shape, The closer to the center, the stronger the power of the heavenly mandate. At the beginning, it couldn't be sensed. On the one hand, it was because of insufficient strength, and on the other hand, it was because the fluctuation of the power of destiny in the periphery was not so strong. Boom! There was a vibration in the distance, but Long Chen didn't bother to pay attention to it and continued to move forward. The place was shaking, and someone was fighting fiercely with the beast. Today's Long Chen is not interested in these ferocious beasts. He has only one goal, which is to find the treasure land of Geomantic Omen and quickly gather more Tianmai dragon energy. Speeding all the way, Long Chen sensed fluctuations of the essence of destiny in several places, but these fluctuations were too weak to be ignored by Long Chen. For him now, a small amount of destiny essence is no longer in his favor. After all, he has started to condense the fifth heavenly vein dragon chi. Long Chen needs to absorb hundreds of times for the fifth heavenly vein essence. The dragon spirit is complete. Long Chen didn't have that much energy. He had just experienced the incident of the golden armored knights. Long Chen ate a large piece of fat. Now he can't look down on those meat scum. The closer to the depths of the Tianmai profound realm, the more powerful people there are, and there are more terrifying beasts. That is the real dangerous place. Of course, the most dangerous places have the most opportunities. If in the past, Long Chen didn't dare to get too close to the core, but now, Long Chen has 5 heavenly veins and dragon energy, and there are Kain Kunding and Dragon Bone Sia. He is fearless. Bang bang bang. Suddenly, Long Chen's heart beat wildly, and without warning, the blood of the 7-color supreme flowed rapidly, and Long Chen's whole body was enveloped by the 7-color divine brilliance. Long Chen was taken aback. The 7-color supreme blood burst out automatically, and before Long Chen understood what was going on, a strong summoning intention came from the front right. Without even thinking about it, Long Chen immediately changed direction and galloped towards the power of summoning. Boom! As they were galloping, countless figures appeared. There were tens of millions of people in this group, and they rushed forward at a high speed. The direction they were heading in was exactly the same as Long Chen's. However, their speed was not fast because it was a team marching, and they had to maintain their formation, so they couldn't get up fast at all, and they were overtaken by Long Chen very quickly. When Long Chen caught up with them, these people were obviously a little nervous, and the leader immediately turned on his guard. When he saw that Long Chen was just a person, he let down his guard slightly. Looking at the clothes of these people, Long Chen was slightly taken aback. Their clothes were somewhat similar to those of Su Yu and others, but Long Chen found that a small north was drawn on their chests, cuffs, and collars. Character. It's from the Quartet Alliance. The 4-party alliance is divided into 4 alliances in the south, east, and northwest, with a large number of people. Su Yu belongs to the Southern Alliance, but these people are actually from the Northern Alliance. The first person was a powerful 9 Meridians Heaven Sage. He looked at Long Chen coldly, his eyes full of vigilance. Long Chen didn't say anything. His figure was like lightning. He galloped away and instantly got rid of them. After galloping for a while, he encountered another team in front of him. They were also human races, but the number was not large, only millions of people. When they saw Long Chen, many people held down their weapons, as if they would kill him as long as he dared to approach. Long Chen was suddenly upset. Why, if I surpass you, you dare to do it? Just when Long Chen was about to overtake this team, suddenly the light in front of him was shining brightly, like a round/rising sun, making it impossible to open your eyes. At this moment, the wild laughter was like the roar of a tiger and leopard. Ha, Jiang Yue, give up, you are not my opponent at all. If you don't know what to do, don't blame me, Long Zai, for being ruthless and ambitious. Chapter 5609, Jiang Yue? Long Chen was startled when he heard this name, and actually met Jiang Yue here. The light in front of him was dazzling, and even his consciousness was temporarily suppressed, but soon, the light in front of him gradually became softer, and Long Chen saw a boundless desert. In the core of the desert, A huge stone tablet stands in the middle of the desert. The endless runes on the stone tablet flow, and the sacred brilliance is like the rising sun, illuminating the whole world. It was its light that almost made Long Chen blind for a moment, but this kind of blindness was extremely short-lived and recovered soon. When Long Chen saw the rune on the stone tablet, he couldn't help beating wildly, Zhuli Xianwen. Long Chen is knowledgeable. He has consulted countless ancient books. He basically knows the 3 generations of Zhuli Xianwen, but he doesn't know much about the 2nd generation of Zhuli Xianwen. As for the 1st generation, Long Chen can count with his hands. However, the runes on the stone tablet have the breath of Zhuli Xianwen, but each stroke has a completely different charm. It is like a heavenly book, which contains shocking secrets. Long Chen didn't even have a single one. The whole body of the steel is full of runes. It keeps shaking and its body is still rising. As it rises, runes are revealed one by one. No one knows how much of the steel is buried in the ground. Looking around, there are already a sea of people. There are strong people from all races. There are thousands of times more strong people here than those in the Zhonghuang battle armor. But at the core of the steel, they are divided into 4 camps. Long Chen looked at the clothes. Good guy, they are the 4 great gods of Long, Zhao and Jiang. Each of the 4 great god clans has over tens of millions of powerful people, with a strong lineup and soaring aura. Everyone has a powerful aura of divine way around them, and at the same time carries the vicissitudes of time. Obviously, the strong people of the 4 great god clans, most of them are also the arrogance of ancient seals. The 4 great god clans were divided into 4 directions, and surrounded the sacred monument clearly. At this time, 2 people stood in front of the sacred monument. One of them, with fluttering long clothes, was extremely handsome, and her beautiful cheeks were full of arrogance. This person was Jiang Yue, the daughter of the Jiang family and god of war. At this time, the 9 dragon auras behind her were flowing, but Long Chen was surprised to find that among the 9 dragon auras behind her, 4 of them were not transparent, but light blue. Tian my dragon energy that combines luck? Long Chen was taken aback. He didn't expect to see the dragon vein of luck mentioned by Qian Kunding. At this time, Jiang Yu's aura was boundless, almost endless, and the terrifying fluctuation of divine power made the soul tremble, and he dared not look directly at it. At this time, Jiang Yu's breath alone is more than 10 times stronger than the general Jumai Tianxing. At this time, Long Chen finally believed Lu Qingshuang's words, and also affirmed that the Yuchangfeng in her mouth was also a fusion of a family of luck the presence. Opposite Jiang Yue was a burly man who was over 10 feet tall, with muscles all over his body protruding, and his energy and blood seemed to explode the world. The man was unkempt, just like a savage. He had a wide face and a big mouth, very ugly. His eyes were like copper bells, and there was a strange red flame flickering in his pupils. This person is like a beast in human form, and a devil in human form. Just looking at his appearance, it is terrifying to the heart. 9 veins circulated on his back, among which 5 dragon veins of heaven seemed to be dyed red with blood. Like his main body, those 5 dragon veins appeared extremely ferocious and bloodthirsty, wanting to devour everything in the world. When he saw this savage-like guy, a name suddenly appeared in Long Chen's mind, Long Zhe, known as the number 1 monster of the Long family, an invincible existence. Boom! The breath of the 2 was circulating, and they collided frantically in front of the sacred monument. The ground under their feet was cracked. Obviously, the 2 had already competed before. However, this kind of contest was just a tentative contest, not an all-out burst. Jiang Yu's beautiful eyes were like stars, staring at Long Zhe, and her aura was still improving. Jiang Yue has transformed 4 dragon veins of luck, but Long Zhe has already completed 5. In terms of realm, Jiang Yue will suffer a lot. However, Jiang Yu's fighting spirit remained undiminished even though she suffered a disadvantage in the realm, and there was no sign of retreating in her indifferent eyes. There are countless strong men in the periphery, but they are all silent at this moment. They also know that this is a duel between 2 strong men, and they are so nervous that they even stopped breathing. Jiang Yue, you are not my opponent at all right now. I'm too lazy to entangle with you. If you don't know how to advance or retreat, don't blame me for disregarding the friendship of the four great gods and destroying flowers with hot hands. Looking at Jiang Yue, who was full of fighting spirit, Long Zhe was cold typical. You claim to be the #1 member of the younger generation of the four major god races, and you even once provoked me. Even if my realm is lower than yours, today there will be a winner. Jiang Yue said coldly. Back then when Long Zhe came out of the customs, he was extremely arrogant, belittled the strong men of the other three clans to nothing, and even uttered wild words that he wanted to take Jiang Yue as a servant girl. Such humiliation made Jiang Yue immediately angry. Although the Long family also sent people to apologize, saying that Long was in the wild was unintentional, and hoped that the harmony of the two families would not be hurt. But this kind of apology has no sincerity at all. The Jiang family accepted this kind of apology for their own interests, but how could Jiang Yue accept it? After she entered the Tianmai profound realm, she frantically improved her strength, but unexpectedly, she was still thrown away by Long Zhe. However, even if her realm is suppressed, she still has a fighting spirit. In the battle between the strong, it is not that whoever has a higher realm will definitely win, and there are many variables in it. Seeing this, the strong members of the Jiang family were very anxious. If the two were of the same level, they had certain confidence in Jiang Yue. However, the difference between the two is a Tianmai dragon chi, so the gap is huge. Long Zhe is the strongest master of the younger generation of the Long family. He has gained a great reputation in the era of chaos. Jiang Yue didn't have any hope at all. Sister Yue, you are wrong. Long Zhe is the #1 member of the younger generation of the Long family. If you let him have the dragon energy of the sky, it is tantamount to humiliating the entire Long family. Among the strong Jiang family, Feng Fei stood up and said. When Feng Fei spoke, all the disciples of the Jiang family applauded secretly. The whole Feng Fei really deserved to be Jiang Yu's #1 think tank. One sentence bound Long Zhe, 5 meridians against 4 meridians. It would be shameful to win, and even more embarrassing to lose, and for Jiang Yue, this kind of challenge was not conducive to the unity of the four major god races. In this way, for the sake of the family, Jiang Yue will not insist on challenging, and Long Zhe also has a step down, and a battle will be reduced to nothing. You're wrong, that person didn't show up, he's not yet the #1 master of the young generation of the Long family. At this moment, a cold voice came from the Long family's camp. It was a woman's voice. Hearing that woman's voice, Long Chen's scalp felt numb for a while, and he almost turned around and left. Shut up, that Long Chen you're talking about is just a waste, a coward, he dare not show up until now. Long Zhe roared angrily. Among the powerhouses of the Long family, a beautiful woman with a slender figure and a luxurious temperament stood up, and a smile that could fascinate all living beings appeared on the corner of her mouth. He's already here. Chapter 56 Ten Long Tianrui, one of the peerless talents of the Long family, was also blessed by luck. At this time, she has 3 dragon veins of luck. Rumor has it that Long Tianrui has a special identity. The Long family has split in history. The branch where Long Tianrui belongs has blessed her with all the luck. She is amazingly talented and powerful, and she is not inferior to anyone, but in terms of luck blessing, she is obviously not as good as Long Zhe, who was born in the direct line. When Long Tianrui crossed the endless wilderness and found Tianyuan Long's family, the whole Long family was shocked. She was hailed as the strongest genius at that time. Later, when Long Tianai was born, her position was suppressed. But even in the face of the peerless arrogance of the endless chaotic era, Long Tianrui's brilliance is still bright, and she can still be firmly ranked in the top 3 among the strongest arrogance of the Long family. In addition to the strongest dragon in the wild, the Long family also has a peerless arrogance named Long Zimo. Similarly, the reason why he beat Long Tianrui was because of his branch. Long Tianrui has a beautiful face and amazing talent, and is regarded by countless people as the lover of her dreams. The arrogance of the Long family, including Long Zhe and Long Zimo, have all expressed their affection for her. However, Long Tianrui has always been honest with them and put down her words. She has already met the most suitable partner for reproduction, and if someone can defeat him, she will consider marrying that person. Since then, Long Chen's name has been spread in the Long family. At first, people were not convinced, thinking that Long Chen is a disciple from outside the territory and lacks resources, so there is no room for growth. Later, Long Zhantian came and abducted Ling Long Gorfiend. At that time, Long Zhantian was only a sage of heaven, and the Long family didn't care too much. No one knew that Long Zhantian was Long Chen's father. After Long Zhantian verified Julie's blood, he was taken in by the Long family as an ordinary disciple. At that time, Long Zhantian was very low-key and did not reveal his strength. It was not until he abducted the Linglong blood demon suppressed by the Long family that the Long family realized how terrifying Long Zhanshan's strength was. The Linglong blood demon is an immortal existence, and the Long family suppressed it all the year round, weakening its power with the power of luck. But even if the Linglong Gorfiend has been weakened to the extreme, it still has the strength of the 6th-rank God Emperor in the era of chaos. How terrifying is that? The Long family suddenly fell into panic. The Linglong Gorfiend hated the Long family to the core. Once released, it might take bloody revenge on the Long family. However, after Linglong Gorfiend was abducted by Long Zhantian, he disappeared without a trace. The Long family used various methods to investigate, but they still couldn't touch it. According to the inference of the Long family, Linglong Gorfiend either left the Tianyuan world or hid in a small world. Otherwise, with the methods of the Long family, it is impossible to find any clues. Although this incident has passed for some time, the Linglong Gorfiend has always been a sharp sword hanging over the Long family's head and has always made the Long family fearful. The Long family hated Long Zhantian deeply, and later Long Tianrui confirmed that Long Zhantian was Long Chen's father. The Long family was furious and asked Long Tianrui why he didn't say it earlier. Long Tianrui's answer was, "You didn't ask me?" Moreover, when Long Zhantian came, he sneaked into the Long family, and Long Tianrui didn't even know about Long Zhanshan's arrival. The younger generation of the Long family hated Long Chen because of Long Tianrui, while the older generation hated Long Zhantian. In short, the father and son have become the most wanted criminals of the Long family. Now, when they heard Long Tianrui say that Long Chen had arrived, at that moment, everyone followed Long Tianrui's gaze. And Jiang Yue and Feng Fei were also taken aback. Following Long Tianrui's eyes, soon, a familiar figure came into their sight. When Feng Fei saw Long Chen, who was dressed in black and had fluttering hair, her scalp went numb. "You idiot, are you here to die?" As strong as Jiang Yue, he suffered a loss just now with a trial. That dragon was as strong as a monster in the field. Long Zhantian kidnapped the Linglong blood demon again, and Long Chen appeared. Can he still leave alive? "Hi, Fairy Yue, beautiful Feng Fei, and Miss Tianrui, how are you?" Seeing that he was discovered, Long Chen simply walked forward while waving his hands generously. When she saw Long Chen appear, a smile appeared on Long Tianrui's face, and there was a touch of joy in her eyes. She knew that Long Chen would definitely come. When Long Chen just arrived, she had a feeling. She didn't know why. From the first time she saw Long Chen, she felt that there was a unique aura on Long Chen. That kind of aura was indescribable. The unknown path is unique to Long Chen. The first time she saw Long Chen, that aura was deeply imprinted in her perception. When Long Chen first arrived, everyone's attention was focused on Jiang Yue and Long Zhe, but the first time I sensed Long Chen. Hula. Originally on the outskirts, there were countless strong men working their own camps, blocking Long Chen's path densely, but at this time they gave way in a uniform manner. In this way, Long Chen walked forward slowly in the eyes of everyone. Long Chen's steps were light and firm. Even in the face of endless strong men, his expression was always relaxed. "This guy is so stupid." When she saw Long Chen greeting her with a smile, Jiang Yu's heart sank. Although she didn't care about Long Chen very much, She knew that Feng Fei had a man in her heart, and that was Long Chen. Feng Fei once said frankly that she would not marry anyone, but there was always a place for someone in her heart. Jiang Yue has been with Feng Fei for a long time and loves her as sisters. She knows that if Long Chen dies here, it will definitely cause great harm to Feng Fei and even affect her future practice. For Feng Fei's sake, she couldn't let Long Chen die. If it was elsewhere, she could help Long Chen. But it can't work here. When Long Chen appears here, then the conflicts of the Long family will be settled. She is an outsider, and she has no right to intervene. Seeing Long Chen's grinning appearance, as if he didn't know the danger in front of him at all, Jiang Yue was so angry that she looked at Feng Fei, only to see Feng Fei's complexion was pale, and her eyes were full of anxiety. However, compared to Feng Fei and Jiang Yu's nervousness, Long Tianrui looked very relaxed. Seeing Long Chen walking step by step, she smiled slightly and said, "You are still so courageous, knowing that this is a dragon's lake and a tiger's den. Do you still want to break into it?" Long Chen swayed 3 times, like a leisurely stroll, but the speed was very fast. Within a few steps, he had already arrived in front of everyone. Everyone was taken aback. Between Long Chen's steps, there was faint starlight flowing, but there was no spatial fluctuation, and there was no strong wind. There were countless strong people present. Long Chen showed his hand, but few people saw it. How did he do that? When Long Chen arrived, the eyes of the tens of millions of strong men in the Long family suddenly became sharper, each of them bursting with murderous intent, and many people had already laid their hands on their weapons, as if they would meet with each other if they disagreed with each other. Long Zhe stood in the void, looking at Long Chen with eyes like copper bells, and a cruel smile gradually emerged from the corner of his mouth. It looked like a tiger watching its prey enter its territory. Long Chen came to the crowd, glanced at Long Zhe, then at the disciples of the Long family. His eyes swept across the camps of the Zhao family and the Yi family, and a faint smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. "Miss Tianrui, this group of crooked melons and split dates can also be called Long Tan Tiger's Den?" As soon as Long Chen said this, the powerhouses around all gasped. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.